Chapter 803. Map. There's something else. Gu Shaoxian noticed something else on the ground that Yang Hongwu hadn't noticed yet. What's this? Gu Shaoxian picked it up. This is the map of the 5 extreme space. Yang Hongwu had thought that the map had been destroyed. He hadn't expected it to be preserved. Husband, you said this is a map? Yes. Yang Hongwu nodded. This thumb-sized white jade was indeed a map, but it required a special method to see it clearly. If it's a complete map of the 5 extreme space, that would be great. The girls were pleasantly surprised. Although there were many opportunities in the 5 extreme space, there were also many dangers. When they first entered the 5 extreme space, the map given by the leader was drawn by generations of disciples of the Tianyi immortal abode. It was very incomplete. No, this map isn't complete either. However, it's much more complete than ours. With a thought, Yang Hongwu sent his spiritual power into the jade stone. The jade stone map immediately appeared, forming a huge sand table in front of everyone. What an exquisite map! Everyone exclaimed. This map was much more intricate and easier to identify than the maps drawn on animal skins. What do those red dots represent? Little Miss Model asked. If I'm not wrong, these red dots should represent places with powerful beasts. Look, there are big and small red dots, and there are numbers beside them. If I'm not wrong, the numbers should represent the strength of the beast. The bigger the number, the bigger the red, and the more dangerous it is, Yang Hongwu said. Then, what about these green dots? Hu Shou'er asked. These places should represent places with opportunities, or places with spiritual altars, Yang Hongwu said. Spiritual altars? Really? There are so many spiritual altars in the 5 extreme space? There were many green areas. Queen of the Abyss, what do you think of this map? Yang Hongwu asked the Queen of the Abyss. The Queen of the Abyss had been subdued by Yang Hongwu. Although her cultivation hadn't fully recovered, she knew much more than Yang Hongwu in the 5 extreme space. It's 90% true. However, most of the spiritual altars have been dug out. The treasures inside are long gone. Only a very small number of extremely dangerous spiritual altars remain. The Abyssal Demon Empress pointed to the largest green dot on the map and said, "This is actually not a spiritual platform, but a spiritual pagoda. There are very precious treasures in this spiritual pagoda, but it's very dangerous. It's almost impossible to enter this spiritual pagoda." Yes. There are powerful existences in the pagoda. Some have even surpassed the Great Saint Realm and reached the Great Emperor Realm. The Queen of the Abyss said. If you can defeat the guardian beast of the pagoda, you'll be able to obtain great benefits. It might be the inheritance of a great emperor, or powerful emperor techniques or emperor weapons. Yang Hongwu took a deep breath. Although monarch arts and monarch weapons were insignificant to Yang Hongwu, it was a different story for his woman. He had emperor weapons and emperor techniques, but Yuji, Gu Shaoxian, Hu Shou'er, and the others didn't. Moreover, emperor weapons and emperor techniques were supreme treasures. Who would complain about having too many of them? However, it wasn't easy to obtain the treasures in the pagoda. Otherwise, the treasures in the pagoda would have been taken away. It's too dangerous. Yuji said. Great Emperor Realm beasts are very terrifying. We're no match for them. So, husband, let's not take the risk. Don't you have the Heavenly Beast Light and the 10,000 kill needle? The Queen of the Abyss said. The Heavenly Beast Light is very powerful. It's enough to injure Great Emperor Realm beasts. Once it's injured, we'll have a chance. Don't forget that my cultivation has reached the Great Emperor Realm. Although I haven't fully recovered and can unleash the full strength of a Great Emperor, I'm able to unleash 50% of my combat strength. No, it's still too dangerous. Jing Qiushuang and the others rejected in unison. In their hearts, Yang Hongwu's safety was the most important. The pagoda was guarded by Great Emperor Realm beasts. It was too difficult to deal with those beasts. They were terrifying Great Emperor Realm beasts. So what if the Queen of the Abyss's cultivation had reached the great Emperor realm? After all, she was forced to become Yang Hongwu's slave. If she deliberately played tricks during the pagoda, wouldn't it be troublesome? It was because of this that the women rejected in unison. It's not suitable to challenge the pagoda now. Yang Hongwu thought for a while and said, our overall strength isn't enough to deal with the beasts guarding the pagoda. However, we can still give it a try when we're stronger and the heavenly beast light has fully recovered. I'm not saying that we should challenge it now. The Queen of the Abyss nodded. Although she was a little disappointed, she knew that since Yang Hongwu had said so, it wouldn't be easy for him to change his mind. In other words, it was basically impossible. In that case, they could only wait. The treasures in the pagoda were wanted by all the natives in the 5 extreme spaces, let alone her. It was just that no one could defeat the 2 beasts guarding the pagoda. Back then, the experts from the 5 extreme spaces had attacked the pagoda, but without exception, they all failed. However, although they failed to challenge the pagoda, it wasn't like they didn't gain anything. The pagoda was divided into several levels, and one would receive a corresponding reward if they could pass through each level. Back then, she had passed through 5 levels. There were 7 levels in the pagoda. Someone had gone up to the 6th level, but no one had ever gone up to the 7th level. However, that was something that happened a long time ago. Now, a powerful beast had appeared outside the pagoda. Its strength was invincible among those below the Great Emperor realm. Unless one was a Great Emperor realm expert, no one could fight against it. If they wanted to challenge the pagoda, they had to first defeat the beast. After defeating the beast, they would consume a lot of energy. In that case, it would be almost impossible to successfully challenge the pagoda after entering the pagoda. What do these circles represent? Yang Hongwu pointed at the circles on the map and asked. This should be a teleportation formation. A teleportation formation? Where can it teleport to? Yang Hongwu quickly asked. Chapter 804. Divine Spiritual Grass. There's a teleportation array not far away. Should we go and take a look? Yuji asked. We can try. Yang Hongwu nodded. He was an array master after all. He could understand it if he checked it on the spot. If they could directly teleport to the opposite Broken Sky Mountain, it was simply impossible to pass through the Broken Sky Demon Abyss. Even the Abyssal Devil Empress herself couldn't directly go to the Broken Sky Mountain. In order to go to the Broken Sky Mountain, she had to take a detour. Under Yang Hongwu's lead, everyone came to the first teleportation array. This teleportation array is to enter a different space, the Queen of the Abyss said after taking a look. You all enter my immortal pagoda. The Queen of the Abyss and I will enter the teleportation array. Yang Hongwu looked at Yuji and said to everyone behind him. Okay. Senior brother. What's the matter? Yang Hongwu saw Chen Wangyu's hesitant look and asked. Just say it. Yang Hongwu could rest assured about Chen Wangyu and the disciples of the God-slaying peak behind him. Those who were disloyal to him had already jumped out. Ziryu's cultivation had been destroyed by him. She couldn't make any waves now. Although she could cultivate again, he didn't know when she could recover. Moreover, he had planted a contract mark in her soul. There was no need to worry at all. Senior brother, we want to leave and find our own opportunities, Chen Wangyu said. You want to leave the team? Yang Hongwu looked at Chen Wangyu and the disciples of the God-slaying peak behind him. Yes, we can't always rely on senior brother. Senior brother has his own mission. If we keep following senior brother, we will become a burden to senior brother and make senior brother worry. Therefore, we have decided to leave senior brother and go out. After Chen Wangyu finished speaking, the disciples behind him nodded one by one. Do you know that the 5 extremities space is extremely dangerous? Moreover, this is the foot of the Sky Break Mountain. There might be terrifying mutated beasts with powerful strength. You might not be able to withstand them. Yang Hongwu knew that Chen Wangyu and the others were disciples of the God-killing peak. As the peak master of the God-killing peak, Tengaku was an extremely arrogant person. Although Chen Wangyu and the others were not disciples of Tengaku, they were still disciples of the God-killing peak. They also had that kind of arrogant personality and their own dignity. We know, but if we don't experience life and death situations, how can we improve our cultivation? Chen Wangyu asked. Yes, senior brother Chen is right. Without experience, it will be difficult to achieve greatness. After Yang Hanwu took out the pills and talismans, he also took out a message talisman and handed it to Chen Wangyu. Alright, since you think so, you should be careful. Here are some pills and talismans. Take them, they will be helpful to you. In addition, if you encounter any danger, use this message talisman to inform me. I will rescue you as soon as possible. Thank you, senior brother. Chen Wangyu accepted the items without hesitation. After thanking him, Chen Wangyu and the God-killing peak male disciples turned and left together. Seeing them leave, Ziru felt a little complicated. If she had left directly back then, she wouldn't be in this state now. However, it was too late for regrets. Moreover, she had now obtained the opportunity to cultivate the Morning Soul Emperor's cultivation technique. Although her cultivation had been crippled and she didn't know how long it would take to recover, she could now cultivate by leaps and bounds. After all, her cultivation realm was still there. She was in the Great Sage realm. Enter my immortal pagoda space. Yang Hanwu said to Yuji and the others. Yuji and the others nodded. Yang Hanwu waved his hand and teleported them into the immortal pagoda space. However, Ziru wanted to follow Yang Hanwu. Yang Hanwu didn't refuse. Along the way, the relationship between Ziru and the Queen of the Abyss became better and better. Perhaps it was because they were both Yang Hanwu's slaves and had the same experience in fate, which made them empathize with each other. Yang Hanwu didn't care about this. The Queen of the Abyss couldn't resist his will at all. The same was true for Ziru. Moreover, Ziru's current strength wasn't even at the Venerable Realm. If both of them were in the Great Emperor Realm, Yang Hanwu might be worried. After entering the teleportation formation, a light flashed. In the next moment, Yang Hanwu entered a special space. This space was lifeless. As soon as he entered, Yang Hanwu felt a terrifying suction force that wanted to devour his vitality. Yang Hanwu hurriedly operated his cultivation method. At this time, Ziru's face was pale. The loss of her vitality was very shocking. In a few breaths, a strand of white hair appeared. Yang Hanwu waved his hand and a magic power protected her. As for the Queen of the Abyss, her strength was in the Great Emperor Realm. Although the suction force was strong, it had no effect on her. What the hell is this place? Ziru took a deep breath and cursed. Ziru, enter the immortal pagoda space first. Yang Hanwu looked at her and said. No, I want to see what it is that dares to devour my vitality. Ziru said angrily. I'll protect her. It'll be fine. At this time, the Queen of the Abyss said. Okay. Yang Hanwu could only smile bitterly. With Ziru's current strength, she couldn't resist the suction force at all. At this time, the three of them looked up and saw a tall plant appear in front of them. The reason why the surroundings were so lifeless and devoid of life was because of this plant. This plant released a dazzling golden light, and a huge illusory figure revolved around it. It looked like the sole shadow of a heavenly god. This is the heavenly god's spiritual grass. Seeing the appearance of this spiritual grass, the Queen of the Abyss was shocked and couldn't help but cry out. Heavenly god's spiritual grass? Yang Hanwu had never heard of this name. He couldn't help but be stunned and asked, what's the heavenly god's spiritual grass? It's not the heavenly god's spiritual grass, but the heavenly god's spiritual grass. Rumor has it that it's a spiritual grass born from the blood of a heavenly god. It contains a trace of the heavenly god's will. It's very domineering and can devour all living things around it to grow. The Queen of the Abyss said, I've only heard of this heavenly god's spiritual grass. I didn't expect it to really exist here. Born from the blood of a heavenly god? Yang Hanwu was very surprised. What was this so-called heavenly god? Could it be stronger than a great Emperor realm expert? What's the use of this heavenly god's spiritual grass? Ziryu asked. It dares to devour my vitality. I'm going to eat it. Ziryu's eyes flashed. Chapter 805. Devouring. Well, how can I get this heavenly deity's spiritual grass? Yang Hongwu asked. I don't know. The Abyssal Empress said, the divine deity's spiritual grass is very overbearing. The closer you are to it, the more terrifying the devouring power will be. Moreover, you will be eroded by the will of the divine deity. Once you are completely eroded, you will become fertilizer for the divine deity's spiritual grass. If you want to get this heavenly deity's spiritual grass, you have to see if you can get close to it. The Queen of the Abyss said. Is it that difficult to get close to this heavenly deity's spiritual grass? Yang Hongwu frowned. Let me try. Let me do it. The Queen of the Abyss said. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. No matter what, this heavenly deity's spiritual grass is just a plant. No matter how powerful it is, how can it be compared to the longevity ancient tree? With Nini's longevity ancient tree, Yang Hongwu was not worried at all. Moreover, he had the immortal pagoda, the gem of life, the sorcerer's world, and so on. With these trump cards, Yang Hongwu was not worried about being devoured by this heavenly deity's spiritual grass. If this heavenly deity's spiritual grass is really that powerful, it should be pretty good to make a pill out of it. His strength could probably be raised by another level. Yang Hongwu slowly walked towards the heavenly deity's spiritual grass. The skill in his body was activated to the extreme. Yang Hongwu felt a terrifying devouring power coming from all around him, as if it was going to devour him whole. Yang Hongwu frowned. This heavenly deity's spiritual grass is indeed powerful. The closer he got, the stronger the devouring power. If it wasn't for his special cultivation method, he probably wouldn't have been able to withstand it. 10 feet, 9 feet. The distance was getting closer and closer. When Yang Hongwu was 5 feet away from the heavenly deity's spiritual grass, Yang Hongwu's consciousness was suddenly pulled into a special space. This was a spiritual space. At this moment, a strong pressure appeared, and a huge figure appeared. In front of Yang Hongwu, his aura was domineering, and his eyes looked down on the world. In his eyes, Yang Hongwu was just an ant. Audacious fanatic, you still aren't kneeling after seeing this deity. A voice sounded like a clap of thunder. Yang Hongwu's eyes shot out a beam of light. Tao of the Dragon. Yang Hongwu circulated the 9 transformations Yin-Yang Harmony art and the Tao of the Dragon to the extreme. Divine Dragon breaks the heavens. With a furious roar, Yang Hongwu seemed to have transformed into a divine dragon of creation. It crashed into the tall figure. Boom! With a loud bang, the phantom image was blown apart. Yang Hongwu's consciousness returned to reality. The original palace and throne had disappeared. Yang Hongwu looked at the heavenly deity's spiritual grass in front of him and took a deep breath. Sure enough, he had some skills. You want to confuse me? You're still lacking. At this moment, Yang Hongwu looked like a deity. His hair and clothes fluttered without wind. He approached step by step. In a few breaths, Yang Hongwu arrived in front of the heavenly deity's spiritual grass. He grabbed at the heavenly deity's spiritual grass with his big hand. Boom! At this moment, a powerful aura rushed out and bombarded Yang Hongwu. Yang Hongwu was forced to take a few steps back. The heavenly deity's spiritual grass condensed into an energy body. It was a tall figure. This figure was exactly the same as the one Yang Hongwu encountered in the space of consciousness. Audacious fanatic, you dare to touch this deity. Do you want to die? The figure opened his mouth and said. He pointed a halberd at Yang Hongwu. You still want to make trouble? You're overestimating yourself. Yang Hongwu raised his right hand slightly, and a saber appeared in his hand. This was the 9-dragon saber. Now that he did not need the 9-dragon saber to suppress his right hand, the power he could erupt was much stronger than before. Of course, the power of the devil hand could not be mobilized. Yang Hongwu's combat power now was still a little weaker than before. However, he did not need to worry about chi deviation and degenerate into a demon. He could use his full strength to attack. With a wave of his saber, a terrifying saber chi shot up into the sky and turned into a golden dragon, rushing towards the figure. Boom! The two forces collided. The force collapsed, sand and stones flew, and a huge pit was blasted open on the ground. However, the area around the heavenly deity's spiritual grass was not damaged at all. Don't struggle, just let me dig it away. Yang Hongwu slashed out again, completely shattering the will. Damn it, how can my devouring power not affect you? The figure looked ferocious, looking at Yang Hongwu in disbelief. Yang Hongwu's mouth curved into a smile. The bodies he cultivated were the immortal dragon body and the 9 dragon saint body. Both were extremely powerful. How could they be so easily devoured? Moreover, it was just a remnant will. If he used the dragon soul, he could easily devour its will. Accept your fate. Perhaps, I will give you a chance to create a body for you, so that you can survive in another way. Yang Hongwu looked at the will of the heavenly deity's spiritual grass and said. Yang Hongwu was not only an alchemist, an array master, but also a puppeteer. Although Yang Hongwu did not study the puppetry thoroughly, he could still make some simple puppets. The consciousness of the heavenly deity's spiritual grass could be introduced into the puppetry and become a conscious puppet. This was not difficult. Of course, to make those powerful puppets, Yang Hongwu's ability was not enough, but little Miss Muddle could. However, there were no special materials. The materials needed to make those powerful puppets were very complicated and precious. It also took a lot of time. You want to devour me? Dream on. I am a heavenly deity, who do you think you are? The figure snorted and turned into a tall giant beast. With a ferocious face, it pounced on Yang Hongwu. Stubborn. Yang Hongwu snorted and a golden dragon soul appeared. Dragon soul, devour the heavens. The golden dragon opened its mouth and bit down on the giant beast. Kacha, kacha. The giant beast was bitten into pieces. In a few breaths, it was devoured by Yang Hongwu's dragon soul. After devouring the giant beast, Yang Hongwu found that his mental strength and primordial spirit were constantly improving. Compared to before, it had transformed a lot. The mind-refining Heart Sutra was constantly improving. The dragon soul was also constantly improving. The will of the heavenly deity's spiritual grass actually had such a huge benefit. After a few breaths, this trace of will was completely digested. The terrifying devouring power dissipated at once. The entire space began to recover its vitality. The spiritual chi and vitality from the outside continued to pour in. Yang Hongwu found that he actually had a special connection with this space. Chapter 806. Saint-breaking pill, you got it. The Queen of the Abyss was surprised to see Yang Hongwu get it so easily. She could not believe it. This was a divine spiritual grass, it was extremely overbearing. If one wanted to obtain the divine spiritual grass, they would have to destroy the will contained in the divine spiritual grass. If they could not destroy the will of the divine spiritual grass, they would not be able to obtain the divine spiritual grass. Obviously, the divine will of the divine spiritual grass had disappeared. Even the terrifying devouring power had disappeared. This was enough to prove that the divine spiritual grass was already in Yang Hongwu's pocket. Yes, I got it. Yang Hongwu nodded. He reached out his hand and carefully dug out the divine spiritual grass, then placed it in a jade box. This is the divine spiritual grass. As expected of a divine spiritual grass nurtured by the blood of a divine god, it contains such majestic energy. Yang Hongwu looked at the divine spiritual grass and sighed. Yang Hongwu, how about giving this divine spiritual grass to me? If you give it to me, I will be able to recover my true Great Emperor realm cultivation and break through to the second level. Then, no one in the 5 extreme spaces will be able to compete with me. The Queen of the Abyss looked at the divine spiritual grass in Yang Hongwu's hand and wanted it very much. Because if she could obtain this divine spiritual grass, not only would her cultivation be completely restored, but she would also be able to advance to the next level. However, she knew that Yang Hongwu would definitely not give this divine spiritual grass to her so easily. Impossible. Yang Hongwu shook his head and said, I have a use for this divine spiritual grass. It is impossible for me to give it to you. Don't even think about it. Yang Hongwu, if you give me this divine spiritual grass, my strength will be enough to pass through the pagoda. At that time, I will be able to obtain the treasures in the pagoda. Compared to this divine spiritual grass, I will be able to obtain countless secret treasures, emperor techniques, emperor weapons, and emperor pills. The Queen of the Abyss said. Emperor pills? Yang Hongwu smiled gently and said, I can also refine emperor pills. Although Yang Hongwu's alchemy skills had not reached that level, he was not far from it. Although he could not refine emperor pills, he could still refine saint pills. Fortunately, his spiritual grass's mental energy had increased to a very high level. If his spiritual energy did not increase, he would not be able to refine emperor pills. You're also an alchemist and can refine emperor pills? Abyssal Devil Empress was startled. She looked at Yang Hongwu in disbelief. Yang Hongwu's cultivation was too low. It was simply impossible for a venerable to refine an emperor pellet. Even a powerful Dan Emperor couldn't do it. Only the legendary pill spirit could do that, was. As long as there was enough spiritual grass, it could refine emperor pills of the same level. It only needed energy. Although it is difficult to refine emperor pills, it is not a problem to refine saint pills. Yang Hongwu said, this divine spiritual grass, I am going to use it to refine breakthrough saint pills. The cultivation of the girls was too weak. If he could refine the breakthrough saint pill and increase the cultivation of the girls, it would be much easier. Moreover, once the cultivation of the girls increased, his strength would increase even faster after dual cultivation with them. However, Yang Hongwu had not tried refining breakthrough saint pills. Now, there was only one divine spiritual grass that could be used to refine breakthrough saint pills. Therefore, there was no way to practice at all. After all, the materials for refining saint pills were too rare. He had no other materials at all. I want one breakthrough saint pill. The Queen of the Abyss said. I want one too. At this time, Ziryu said. Don't you hate me to the core? Yang Hongwu could feel that even though Ziryu had become his slave, she still held a grudge against him. Are you still afraid that I will attack you? Ziryu rolled her eyes. He was really a bastard. She was already under his control. It was impossible for her to attack him. Once she attacked him, her soul would be in severe pain and she would rather die. This was the power of the contract. This was also what Ziryu did not expect. Yang Hongwu's contract mark was so terrifying. I'm afraid. Yang Hongwu said. Ziryu was infuriated when she heard this. This bastard. Why didn't she see that he was such a person before? Although Ziryu still harbored hatred towards Yang Hongwu, her killing intent was long gone. Ha, I'm just kidding. Don't worry. If I have extra breakthrough saint pills, I will give you one. Yang Hongwu laughed. He was very happy to see Ziryu's expression. There was nothing fun in this place. Teasing her was just a source of amusement and a way to adjust life. Refining pills here? The Queen of the Abyss asked. I still need some supplementary herbs. There are none here. Yang Hongwu said. What herbs? There should be some in the Broken Sky Mountain. The spiritual qi there is very rich. It is suitable for refining pills. Yang Hongwu thought for a moment and said. But it is not easy to go to the Broken Sky Mountain. There may be some powerful exotic beasts or even devils. The Queen of the Abyss said. Don't I still have you? You are the Queen of the Abyss. You are a great Emperor realm expert. I don't think there is anyone who is stupid enough to court death. Yang Hongwu said. I have not recovered from my injuries. The Queen of the Abyss said. Don't fool me. Even if you have not recovered from your injuries, you can still exert half of your combat strength. Unless you encounter a great Emperor realm beast or exotic beast, other exotic beasts are no match for you. Moreover, you are my bodyguard now. If you don't do it, do you expect me to do it myself? Yang Hanwu smiled faintly. I am only an honorable realm expert. If I die, you will die too. The Queen of the Abyss and Ziru rolled their eyes. However, they had to admit that what Yang Hanwu said was the truth. If he died, the two of them would be buried with him. There was no other way. You win. The Queen of the Abyss said. Don't die. I haven't lived long enough. Ziru said. Don't worry. When my strength reaches the Great Saint Realm, I will cancel your contract. Yan Hanwu said. Are you serious? The two women looked at Yan Hanwu and asked in unison. Of course. If my strength reaches the Great Saint Realm, I can kill Great Emperor Realm experts. There is no need for me to be afraid of you. Yan Hanwu said. I hope you will do as you say. The Queen of the Abyss said. Chapter 807. Heavenly Demon Bridge, come, let's go out. Yang Hanwu waved his hand and the three of them left the space. Then, with a thought from Yang Hanwu, the space instantly merged with the little devil world. You actually devoured the space? Seeing Yang Hanwu's method, Ziru and Queen of the Abyss were shocked. Devouring the space was not something an ordinary great sovereign could do. How did he do it? One should know that every space had its own will and the will of the space was not that easy to devour. Yang Hanwu actually devoured the will of the space so easily. It was simply shocking. It's nothing. This is the space created by the heavenly deity spiritual grass. Its will has already been devoured by me. Naturally, there is no longer any control over the space. It's not surprising that I devoured it. Yang Hanwu said faintly. A spiritual grass created a space? Ziru felt that her brain was not enough to comprehend the situation. The Queen of the Abyss was also very surprised. It was her first time hearing about a spiritual grass that could create a space. Let's go. We're going to the Broken Sky Mountain now. Yang Hanwu did not explain much and walked in front. Seeing Yang Hanwu's attitude, they did not ask any more questions. They followed Yang Hanwu all the way. After half a day, Yang Hanwu and the other two came to the side of a metal chain bridge. This was the only way to pass through the Broken Sky Demon Abyss and enter the Broken Sky Mountain. Heavenly Bridge. Yang Hanwu looked at the stone tablet in front of him. This bridge was actually called the Heavenly Bridge. What a big name. However, Yang Hanwu faintly felt that it was not an easy task to cross this metal chain bridge. There seemed to be a special law on the metal chain bridge. To cross this heavenly bridge, one must offer their flesh and soul to it in order to pass through safely. Otherwise, it'll be troublesome. The Queen of the Abyss said. What do you mean? Are you saying that this bridge needs to devour flesh, blood, and souls as tolls? Yang Hanwu was shocked when he heard this. It seemed that this bridge was an evil one. It had to devour flesh and souls, and it had to pay a toll to cross it safely. Yes, the Queen of the Abyss replied. What if I don't? Yang Hanwu asked. If you don't, you'll be knocked into the abyss. The Queen of the Abyss said, for so many years, no one has ever passed through safely without paying the toll. Not even a great emperor? Yang Hanwu asked. The Queen of the Abyss shook her head. I can't. Even if I were at my peak, I wouldn't be able to pass through safely. This bridge is very strange. This bridge has become a spirit. Yang Hanwu squinted his eyes and said, I can see that this bridge is also an incredible treasure. However, it's an evil one. If I can subdue and refine this bridge, my strength will increase tremendously. You want to subdue and refine this heavenly bridge? The Queen of the Abyss was shocked when she heard Yang Hanwu's words. How bold! The heavenly bridge had been here for countless years. There had been people who wanted to occupy it, But without exception, they all died tragically on the heavenly bridge. The heavenly bridge was very tyrannical and strange. None of those who tried to take it had a good ending. They either died tragically on the heavenly bridge, or their souls dissipated in their homes. It was as if it was a curse, a strange curse. Those who had died back then were all fourth-step great emperors. Even great emperors had almost died. This showed how terrifying the heavenly bridge was. Why not? Audacious. The Queen of the Abyss said coldly, "If you want to die, don't drag us down with you. Is the heavenly bridge that scary? You're a great emperor, devil emperor." Yang Hanwu looked at her and said in surprise, "It's not like great emperors haven't been devoured by the heavenly bridge before. Do you take me for a fool?" The Queen of the Abyss said angrily, "You and I are connected in life and death. If you die, we die. If you want to refine the heavenly bridge, you'll have to remove our contract marks first. Is that so? This bridge is really that strange. The more you say, the more interested I am." Yang Hanwu looked at the heavenly bridge in front of him with excitement. If the heavenly bridge was really that powerful, then his strength would increase tremendously if he could refine it. At that time, he would be more confident in dealing with Zetian. He had to admit that Yang Hanwu wasn't fully confident that he could defeat Zetian. After all, Zetian was too strange now and his strength was very strong. He didn't expect that his avatar's strength was already at the peak of the Great Sage realm. Then, how strong would his original body be? Just like what the Queen of the Abyss said, his original body had probably entered the Great Emperor realm long ago. Moreover, it was likely that this was far from it. His strength was still constantly increasing and growing. After a few more days, no one knew how strong Zetian would become. Yang Hanwu now had some doubts. In the Earth Spirit Palace, the terrifying demon suppressed by the soul-suppressing tablet, which was the original body of Zetian, had probably been born. Otherwise, Zetian's strength wouldn't have increased so quickly. Even if he didn't break the seal, he probably got in touch with Zetian's avatar and transferred his demonic power to Zetian so that his strength would increase rapidly. Looking at Yang Hongwu's expression, the Queen of the Abyss smiled bitterly. "Madman, this guy is really a madman. How dare he? Knowing the horror of the heavenly bridge, he still wants to provoke it. Don't you want to refine pills?" The Queen of the Abyss only wanted to dispel Yang Hongwu's idea of refining the heavenly bridge because she didn't want to die yet. "The most important thing for us now is to refine the divine pill. After your strength increases, you can deal with Zetian. If I can refine the heavenly bridge, my strength will be even stronger." Yang Hongwu's eyes flickered. Having said that, Yang Hongwu summoned his true demon avatar. A peerless demon with a terrifying aura appeared. The terrifying aura was surrounded by tyrannical demonic flames, and its eyes flickered with domineering demonic light. The true demon avatar was formed by Yang Hongwu's demonic hand. It also had the Panga real body and the immemorial true demon art. Its strength was already at the Great Sage realm and was extremely domineering. If it went all out, it was enough to kill a martial artist at the peak of the Great Sage realm. It also had the power of the original demonic hand, the supreme demonic path, and the demon-devouring rune. Chapter 808. Mamba Sky-Devouring Crocodile You. The Queen of the Abyss was speechless. This guy still wouldn't give up. He was bent on getting the heavenly demon bridge. "Let's go to Broken Sky Mountain first, get the herbs, and refine the divine pill. We'll come back to get the heavenly demon bridge after we raise our cultivation." The Queen of the Abyss looked at Yang Hanwu and said, "That way, we'll be stronger and more confident." "All right, we'll do as you say." Yang Hanwu said, "Let's cross the bridge now. We need to prepare the flesh and soul, so we need to catch a few exotic beasts first." The Queen of the Abyss said, Go prepare." Yang Hanwu said, "Are you a man? You want a weak woman like me to catch exotic beasts?" The Queen of the Abyss glared at him. "Are you a weak woman?" Yang Hanwu chuckled. "What's more, I'm your master. You want me, your master, to go? Are you sure? The Queen of the Abyss was furious, but she couldn't do anything about it. I'll go with you. At this moment, Ziryu said. Come back quickly. I don't want to wait too long. Yan Hanwu said. Humph. The Queen of the Abyss snorted and walked towards the forest with Ziryu. Yan Hanwu continued to check the Heavenly Demon Bridge. He had to admit that this Heavenly Demon Bridge was a little strange. Yan Hanwu used Maoer's Delusion Breaker eyes to check the Heavenly Demon Bridge, but he couldn't see anything. This Heavenly Demon Bridge was so powerful and strange. However, Yan Hanwu didn't dare to take the risk. After a while, the Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu came back with a few huge exotic beasts. The 3 level 7 exotic beasts were extremely powerful, but in the hands of the Queen of the Abyss, they were like little lambs, unable to resist at all. That's fast. Yan Hanwu smiled. However, the Queen of the Abyss did not speak kindly. She glared at him, then cut open the necks of the 3 strange beasts, let out their blood, and threw them onto the Heavenly Demonic Bridge. At this moment, a black fog shrouded the entire bridge. In the next instant, the deck of the bridge transformed into an altar. A huge mouth appeared, and a powerful suction force swallowed the 3 exotic beasts. Yan Hanwu used the cat's delusion breaker eye to observe the situation. He discovered that the void passage that appeared on this altar led to the devil domain, not the heaven domain. It seemed that this heavenly bridge didn't lead to the heavens, but to the demon region. This bridge belonged to a certain almighty from the demon region. Or it could be said that it belonged to the demon god, who used this demonic bridge to obtain sacrifices to strengthen himself. Yan Hanwu narrowed his eyes. Regarding that aura, that so-called demon god, Yan Hanwu really didn't have the confidence to deal with it. The aura was extremely powerful, unless he could destroy the passage in an instant. Let's go, let's cross the bridge. The Queen of the Abyss said. Yan Hanwu nodded and followed behind her. Stepping on the bridge, Yan Hanwu felt that this heavenly demon bridge contained a terrifying power. It was the power of law, a very terrifying demonic law. If Yan Hanwu hadn't comprehended the supreme demonic law, he wouldn't have been able to feel it. This demonic bridge was very strange. It should be a powerful demonic weapon. The demonic bridge also had its own weapon spirit. Yan Hanwu could clearly feel it. If he wanted to refine this demonic bridge, it wouldn't be a difficult task. As long as he sealed this place and isolated the expert from the devil domain, he could use the Dragon Soul Devourer to devour the artifact spirit of the demonic bridge. Then, he would be able to take the demonic bridge for his own use. When he walked to the center of the demonic bridge, Yan Hanwu noticed something strange. Under this demonic bridge, there was actually a powerful mutated beast. What is that? This mutated beast had a very terrifying aura, comparable to the existence of a great emperor. Mamba Heaven-swallowing crocodile. The Queen of the Abyss said. Mamba Heaven-swallowing crocodile? What kind of mutated beast is that? Yan Hanwu said, this fella has a terrifying aura. It doesn't seem to be below a great emperor. Why is it sealed here? Yan Hanwu could clearly see that this fellow was bound by a huge chain. One of the chains was connected to the heaven-swallowing demonic bridge. It's an ancient fierce beast. Rumor has it that it can devour heaven and earth. It's the pet of an ancient demon god. The entire 5 extremes space was created to seal it. The Queen of the Abyss said, however, I don't know whether it's true or not. Moreover, rumor has it that the one below is only a doppelganger of the Mamba Heaven-swallowing crocodile. The real body is sealed in the deepest part of this space. It's suppressed by an invincible great emperor. There's an invincible great emperor in this 5 extreme space? Yan Hanwu was shocked. Yes. That great emperor is called 5 extremes emperor. This is the origin of the 5 extreme space. This space plane is the inner world of 5 extremes emperor. Because of the suppression of the Mamba Heaven-swallowing crocodile, the great emperor couldn't leave this space plane. Therefore, he has always been here. As for whether it's true or not, I don't know. It's all a legend, the Queen of the Abyss explained. It sounded quite shocking. Yang Hanwu thought to himself. Whether it was true or not, Yang Hanwu didn't really care. However, if this space plane was really the origin space of 5 Extremes Emperor, then the 5 Extremes Emperor's strength was really terrifying. However, he had never heard any news about 5 Extremes Emperor. Moreover, if 5 Extremes Emperor was still alive, why would he use his inner world as a hunting ground for others? Live to say that this is a conspiracy? So this so-called trial was actually a shocking conspiracy? No matter whether it was true or not, he had no choice now. He was already in the 5 Extremes space. He could only take one step at a time. As for what would happen next, he would have to wait and see. Soon, the three crossed the demonic bridge. To Yang Hongwu's surprise, an aura fell on him. It was a subtle aura. If he didn't look carefully, there was no way to notice it. Yang Hongwu moved his mind. That aura had been erased. Roar! At this time, the sky-piercing demonic bridge flickered clearly. A huge shadow flashed and disappeared. Wait. What's wrong? The Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu stopped at the same time. There's a little accident. Yang Hongwu said, when we crossed the demonic bridge, a mark was planted. It's very subtle. If you didn't look carefully, there's no way to notice it. What? Impossible. The Queen of the Abyss shook her head. I didn't feel it at all. That's why it's so strange. Yang Hongwu took a deep breath and said, have you been here before? Yes, there's nothing strange. The Queen of the Abyss said, maybe you're thinking too much. Chapter 809. Spiritual Tree. Let's hurry up. There's a dense spiritual chi in front of us. There should be something we need there. After leaving the Heavenly Demon Bridge, Yang Hongwu and the other two walked quickly. In less than 2 hours, they arrived at the Broken Sky Mountain. The Broken Sky Mountain was indeed full of danger. There were many powerful beasts, and along the way, there were many. Of course, Yang Hongwu had the cat's delusion breaker eye, so he easily avoided many powerful beasts. His speed was also much faster. There seems to be a formation there. The Queen of the Abyss looked at the dense spiritual chi in the distance and said, yes, it's a formation. It's a spirit-gathering formation. I didn't expect there to be a spirit-gathering formation here. Yang Hongwu narrowed his eyes. There was actually a medicinal field in the middle of the spirit-gathering formation. He didn't know who had actually opened up a medicinal field here. It wasn't simple. However, it was convenient for him. With this medicinal field, he didn't need to go elsewhere to find the spiritual herbs he needed. It saved him a lot of trouble. Come, let's go. Don't be so anxious. This formation must have been set up by someone. I wonder who set it up. How strong is he? If we rush in, I'm afraid we'll be in trouble. Ziryu stopped him. It's better to be careful. There's no need. There's no one within 1,000 feet. Yang Hongwu said. Moreover, this formation hasn't been managed for a long time. Yes, the spiritual stones have been used up. The Queen of the Abyss nodded. As the Abyssal Empress, she was very familiar with these things and could easily see through them. There was no one here, but there were beasts. No matter who it is, I want the things in this spirit-gathering formation. Yang Hongwu's eyes flashed. There are countless spiritual herbs in the formation. Although their grades aren't high, they can help me a lot and save us a lot of time. You're saying that there are spiritual herbs in here? Yes, this is a medicinal field. Moreover, it's not an ordinary medicinal field. It's a spiritual field. Countless spiritual herbs are planted here, Yang Hongwu said. If that's the case, then that's great. Ziryu's eyes lit up. Having a lot of spiritual herbs meant that she could concoct a lot of medicinal pills. Even if she didn't concoct medicinal pills, she could still use those spiritual herbs to recover her cultivation. She was originally in the Great Sage realm. After Yang Hanwu destroyed her ancient devil bloodline, her cultivation fell. However, her realm was still there. As long as she had enough energy, her cultivation could quickly recover. When she heard Yang Hanwu say that there was a spiritual field inside, a medicinal field, how could she not be happy? The three of them were extremely excited. For them, cultivation methods, secret techniques, treasures, and equipment were not as practical as spirit herbs. However, breaching this spirit formation is not an easy task. The Queen of the Abyss looked at the spirit formation and said, "There's another spirit formation outside. This spirit formation is a powerful defensive spirit formation. If we want to enter, we have to break this spirit formation first. A mere spirit formation is not worth mentioning to me." Yang Hanwu said confidently, "I'm also an array master." Yang Hanwu took out a few medicinal pills with both hands. These were formation breaching pills. The formation breaching pills flew out. Both of his hands continuously formed seals. Rays of light rushed around the spirit formation like meteors. After the light flashed, there was a muffled sound. Bang! The spirit formation was breached. As the spirit formation was breached, the spiritual energy inside immediately leaked out. The spiritual energy inside was much richer than outside. What a rich spiritual energy! Cultivating here can advance 1,000 miles in a day. Even if there are no spiritual herbs, as long as I cultivate here for a few years, my cultivation will be completely restored. There's even a chance for me to advance further, Ziryu exclaimed. Suddenly, Yang Hongwu's eyes widened in surprise as he looked inside the spirit-gathering spirit formation. He could clearly feel that there was more than just a simple spiritual medicine field in this array formation. There was actually a spiritual tree growing inside. A spiritual tree was much more precious than an ordinary spiritual herb. A spiritual tree could be said to be a spiritual root of heaven and earth. In Yang Hongwu's spiritual abode, Nini was a spiritual tree that belonged to the spiritual root of heaven and earth. It was the longevity ancient tree. Although the spiritual tree before him could not be compared to Nini's longevity ancient tree, it was still extremely precious. However, this spiritual tree was not a sapling. It had probably grown for tens of thousands of years. In the 9 heavens 10 earths, spiritual trees were extremely rare. They were even rarer than invincible great emperors. If a spiritual tree were to appear in the 9 heavens 10 earths, it would definitely cause a bloodbath. Countless people would go crazy for it. Seeing that Yang Hongwu had stopped and looked so surprised, the Queen of the Abyss could not help but ask, "What's wrong?" "It's nothing. This time, we've really found a treasure." Yang Hongwu's eyes were filled with joy. "What treasure has made you so happy?" Ziryu was also very surprised. She knew Yang Hongwu very well. He had a lot of treasures in his hands, including a few emperor weapons. Moreover, he had cultivated emperor techniques. Ordinary treasures were not in his eyes at all. Since something could make him so happy, it must be something extraordinary. Could there be a high-grade spiritual herb inside? Could it be an emperor medicine? There were many spiritual herbs. Since there was a medicinal field inside, the thing that could make Yang Hongwu so happy was probably a sacred medicine or an emperor medicine. The divine deity's spiritual grass was a sacred medicine. It was 1 grade lower than an emperor medicine. If it was given a few more days, the divine deity's spiritual grass could really transform into an emperor medicine. Yang Hongwu's expression right now was even more excited than when he obtained the divine deity's spiritual grass. It's not an emperor medicine. However, it's not any less valuable than an emperor medicine. Yang Hongwu smiled and said, "It's even better." "You're not joking, right? How can such a precious thing not be guarded?" Ziryu said. At this moment, the Queen of the Abyss frowned and said, "If there's really something more precious than an emperor medicine, I'm afraid it won't be so easy to obtain it." "Why do you say that?" "If it's something more precious than an emperor medicine, no one would be so stupid as to leave it behind. There must be a way to protect it." The Queen of the Abyss said, however, there are only a few powerful auras in the Skybreak Mountain. Now, those auras have already left. You're saying that the owner of this place must have left behind a way to protect the treasure? Yang Hanwu recovered from his surprise. He was not an impulsive person. The spiritual tree was so precious. As long as someone knew its value, they wouldn't be so stupid as to not leave behind a way to protect it. Moreover, it was impossible for ordinary people to obtain a treasure like the spiritual tree. Chapter 8:10. Peaches of immortality. No matter what the other party has left behind, I will not give up. The spiritual tree in this formation is mine. Yang Hongwu's eyes lit up. What? You're saying that there's a spiritual tree in this formation? The Queen of the Abyss was shocked. It was a spiritual tree. That was too precious. It was worth a try no matter how big the risk was. It was more precious than any emperor weapon, emperor technique, or emperor medicine. Even invincible great emperors would fight for it. A spiritual tree could create a sacred place for cultivation. No wonder there were spiritual fields here. It was because of the spiritual tree. Yes, it's a spiritual tree. Yan Hanwu said. If it's a spiritual tree, we'll have to make a long-term plan. The Queen of the Abyss said. After all, a treasure like the spirit tree was too precious. Therefore, the defensive measures here were definitely not that simple. Once the formation was broken, the other party would definitely know. Perhaps at this time, the other party would already know about their situation. If they acted rashly, it would be very dangerous. There's no need to think too much. To avoid trouble, we'll do it now. Yang Hanwu said, what we need to do now is to set up a formation to capture the spiritual tree and break the formation. You're right. They had already broken through the outer defensive array and no one had arrived yet. Therefore, the other party would definitely not be able to arrive here in an instant. As such, they would have time to seize the spirit tree as quickly as possible. This was the most suitable method. What they lacked now was time. Therefore, they had to seize the spiritual tree in the shortest time possible. You set up the formation. I'll break it. The Queen of the Abyss said. Alright, here are some pills that can help you break the formation. Yang Hanwu flicked his right hand and a few formation-breaking pills fell into the Queen of the Abyss's hand. These are formation-breaking pills. They can be used to break the formation. There are also a few restriction-breaking pills. They can be used to break seals. The Queen of the Abyss looked at the pills in her hand and was completely shocked. Formation-breaking pill, restriction-breaking pill. This brat actually had such a heaven-defying medicinal pill. That was too shocking. This kind of medicinal pill was simply unheard of. He had never heard of using medicinal pills to break formations and restrictions. But thinking about it, this guy definitely couldn't be judged with common sense. While the Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu were breaking the formations and restrictions, Yang Hanwu had already set up a formation, a 5-element spirit-trapping formation. This 5-element spirit-trapping grand array was to trap the spirit tree and prevent it from escaping. Of course, other than that, there was also Nini's help. If the spirit tree wanted to escape, there was no way it would be able to do so. Lin Fan had only set up the formation just in case. Yang Hanwu didn't want to spend so much effort, only to gain nothing in the end. That would be too unlucky. This was a spirit tree, he absolutely couldn't afford to lose it. Crack! With a crisp sound, the formation was broken. There was a restriction inside, but it was also broken by Ziryu using the restriction-breaking pill. The restriction inside was the most powerful, much more powerful than the formation. But in front of the restriction-breaking pill, it couldn't withstand a single blow. That kind of restriction, although mysterious, was not very powerful. If an ordinary person were to break it, it would take a lot of time. But Yang Hongwu's restriction-breaking pill was different. The people who set up the formation and restriction would never have thought that Yang Hanwu would have something like the restriction-breaking pill, which could directly break the power of the restriction. It really is a spirit tree. As soon as the formation and restriction were broken, the Queen of the Abyss's consciousness directly locked onto the spirit tree. However, the spirit tree also felt the danger and instantly escaped, wanting to escape. But how could Yang Hanwu and the others let it do as it wished? The formation that had been set up long ago trapped the spirit tree in an instant. There was no way it could escape. Come here. Yang Hanwu grabbed the spirit tree with his big hand. Spiritual power seeped out of his body and intertwined into a huge net, enveloping the spirit tree in an instant. However, the spirit tree was not so easy to deal with. It disappeared in an instant. It even has the teleportation technique. The corners of Yang Hongwu's mouth curled into a smile. If it wasn't for the special array he had set up, the spirit tree might have really escaped. Nini, it's up to you. After a few attempts, Yang Hongwu still could not catch the spirit tree as he wished. He knew in his heart that it was not easy to catch the spirit tree. After all, it was the most mysterious thing in the world. If it was so easy to catch the most precious treasure in the world, it wouldn't be so precious and rare. In the vast chaotic void, there were definitely many spiritual roots, but those spiritual roots had their own unique means. Even great emperors, or those who had surpassed great emperors, could not easily catch them. Therefore, even though Yang Hongwu had set up a formation to trap the spirit tree in this area, it was not easy to catch it. Of course, if there was enough time, it was only a matter of time before he caught the spirit tree. However, the problem was that Yang Hongwu did not have that much time. Therefore, he could only let Nini do it. Nini was the longevity ancient tree, an ancient and powerful existence among the spiritual trees. The spirit tree in front of them did not seem to have its own spiritual intelligence. It was purely relying on its instincts to escape. Therefore, even though this spiritual tree had lived for a very long time and in terms of pure energy, it should be stronger than Nini. However, Nini had already developed spiritual intelligence and her level was much higher than it. Therefore, it was not difficult for Nini to deal with it. Don't worry, brother, this spirit tree won't be able to escape. Just wait and see what I can do. After saying that, Nini's green light appeared and hit the spirit tree. When Yang Hongwu saw the appearance of the spirit tree, he was stunned. It was actually a peach tree. Could it be the peach of immortality? There were 10 primordial spiritual roots in the untainted 3 realms, and the peach of immortality was one of them. Of course, there were more powerful ginseng fruits and so on. As for the peach of immortality, it was planted by the Queen Mother of the Jade Lake. Furthermore, this spirit tree was originally a peach tree. Could it really be a peach tree of immortality? All primordial spiritual roots could develop their own consciousness. However, the peach of immortality did not seem to have any consciousness. Nini, is this a peach of immortality? Yang Hongwu looked at the struggling spirit tree and asked. Chapter 8:11. White bone evil woman, then wouldn't it take 30,000 years to ripen? What a pity. Yang Hongwu sighed. It would take more than 10,000 years for the fruit to ripen. For Yang Hongwu, it was meaningless. Brother, don't be greedy. This is an immortality peach, a natural spiritual root. Although it's still far from ripening, planting this immortality peach tree will bring great benefits. Brother, if you plant this immortality peach tree in your inner world, it will bring endless vitality to your inner world, said Nini. Yang Hongwu naturally knew this. However, he couldn't plant the immortality peach tree in his inner world because his inner world was the little fiend world. It was filled with boundless devil chi. It would be difficult for the immortality peach tree to survive there. Even if it could survive, it wouldn't be like what Nini said. However, it was possible to plant it in other places. For example, it could be planted in the space of the Immortal Pagoda. You're going to take it just like that? A green light burst out from Yang Hongwu's body. Immediately, the immortality peach tree appeared and stopped moving. After a while, the immortality peach tree disappeared. That's an immortality peach tree? Yes, it's a natural spiritual root immortality peach tree. Unfortunately, it's far from ripening, said Yang Hongwu. You're giving us all the benefits. You can't take the immortality peach tree for yourself, right? Said the Queen of the Abyss to Yan Hongwu. Ziryu nodded and looked at Yan Hongwu. What? You have a problem with me taking it for myself, said Yan Hongwu. I'm the master. You're my slaves. You're burning the bridge after crossing the river? Said the Queen of the Abyss angrily. At worst, we'll all die together. Haha, don't be so agitated. It's just a joke. Don't worry, you'll get plenty of benefits. Besides, we're all in the same boat now. Yang Hongwu chuckled. We don't have much time now. Let's hurry up and collect the other spiritual herbs. After saying that, Yang Hongwu began to dig out the other spiritual herbs. The Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu looked at each other, then started digging for the herbs as well. The speed of the three people was extremely fast. Not long after, the entire medicinal garden was swept clean, not leaving behind a single stalk of spirit medicine. Not even a few seedlings were left. All the spiritual herbs above the 7th rank had been dug up. Alright, let's leave quickly. Otherwise, it will be too late. Yang Hongwu felt an aura and rushed over from afar. It's too late, the Queen of the Abyss smiled bitterly as she looked into the distance. A black figure instantly appeared in front of the three of them. How dare you plunder my herb garden? A black-clothed woman landed in front of the three of them. This woman's face was very charming, but her gaze was as sharp as a treasured sword. She stared at Yang Hongwu and the others, and the aura on her body was very violent. Her voice was like metal rubbing against each other. It was sharp, ear-piercing, and extremely unpleasant. The White Bone Evil Woman. The Queen of the Abyss narrowed her eyes. Unexpectedly, this herb garden belonged to the White Bone Evil Woman. The White Bone Evil Woman was once the ruler of the Skybreak Mountain and was extremely powerful. As early as 10,000 years ago, she had already reached the peak of the Great Saint Realm, the existence of the 4th step Great Emperor Realm. Thousands of years ago, for some unknown reason, the White Bone Demoness disappeared without a trace. Who would have thought that she would appear again at this time? The Abyss Witch. The two of them looked at each other with sparks in their eyes. Obviously, the two of them had always been on bad terms. In the past, the White Bone Evil Woman's strength was much stronger than the Queen of the Abysses. I didn't expect it to be you. How dare you touch my things? How audacious. The White Bone Evil Woman looked at the Queen of the Abyss and said coldly, hand over the things and give me your souls. Then, I can spare your lives. White Bone Evil Woman, you're really arrogant. The Queen of the Abyss sneered. Don't think that you're invincible just because your strength has improved. You're just a defeated opponent. Although your strength has improved, so what? If I want to kill you, it's easy. The White Bone Evil Woman retorted. There's no point in talking anymore. Let's fight. The Queen of the Abyss grabbed the void, and a streak of demonic chi turned into a huge demonic snake and bit at the White Bone Evil Woman. Its aura was like a demonic dragon that soared into the sky. The surrounding vegetation was instantly crushed by the huge demonic snake. Humph, White Bone Evil Woman coldly snorted. She raised her right hand slightly and turned it into a huge bone claw. The huge bone claw tore the space apart in an instant. It carried a terrifying power and rushed towards Abyssal Devil Empress. Its power was as sharp as a divine weapon, capable of destroying everything in its path. The two violent forces collided. Rumble! An earth-shattering sound was heard. The huge impact completely destroyed the entire herb garden, turning the surroundings into a mess. Bastard, my herb garden. The White Bone Evil Woman was even more furious that her herb garden was destroyed. This was the herb garden that she had been managing for countless years. It was not easy for her to find a spiritual root and plant it here. She spent a huge amount of resources to set up a spiritual gathering array, allowing this place to develop to its current state. She was just waiting for the right time to devour the spiritual root and create a physical body for herself to become a real human again. However, she did not expect that everything would be destroyed. the abyssal evil woman, this damned woman, actually destroyed her herb garden and dug out all the spiritual herbs in the garden. If she did not take back the spiritual root, she did not know how long it would take for her to create a physical body and become a human again. In the past few thousand years, she had left the heavenly Break Mountain. She had killed and devoured countless people and strange beasts before she was able to condense a flesh and blood spiritual core. When the time was right, she would devour the flesh and blood elixir and then merge with the spiritual tree to become a real human again. Moreover, her strength would have a huge breakthrough and reach an unbelievable level. She would be able to break through the shackles of this space and enter a higher level. However, this damned woman ruined everything. It would take a lot of energy and time to plant the spiritual tree again and set up the array again. Therefore, the white bone evil woman hated the Queen of the Abyss, Yan Hongwu, and the others to the core. She attacked with all her strength. She turned into a huge white skeleton in an instant. The skeleton opened its mouth and spat out a stream of bone fire. Everything that the white flame touched was instantly turned into ashes. Humph, water of the nine abyss, destroy. The Queen of the Abyss snorted and condensed a water ball in her right hand. The water ball turned into a rain and flew toward the bone flame. Sizzle. A series of sounds were heard. The rain and the bone flame underwent a huge change. The two forces kept colliding and melting. Chapter 8:12. Demonic might of incarnation. Damn it. How did this damned fellow become so powerful? The skeletal evil demon's face was extremely gloomy. The strength of the Queen of the Abyss had exceeded her expectations. However, she soon found an opportunity, and that was Yan Hongwu. She realized that the Queen of the Abyss was always protecting Yan Hongwu. Therefore, she guessed that Yan Hongwu must be someone she cared about very much. He was a very important man, or rather, this man was her lover. In that case, as long as she caught this man, she would find her weakness. Therefore, with a thought, she first launched a powerful attack on the Queen of the Abyss. Then, she borrowed the force and rushed toward Yan Hongwu, wanting to attack Yan Hongwu. Be careful. The Queen of the Abyss's expression changed. Ha, is this man your lover? So weak? The skeletal evil demon laughed loudly. A cold light flashed in Yan Hongwu's eyes. This skeletal evil demon actually wanted to attack him. She was really courting death. He raised his hands and a majestic magic power began to condense. Hout Yin Evil Suppression Seal, go! A huge golden seal appeared. It was filled with boundless righteous energy, the bane of all fiendish devils. Boom! Although Yan Hongwu's strength was not enough, the Hout Yin Evil Suppression Seal was the nemesis of evil spirits. Moreover, the skeletal evil demon was restrained by the Queen of the Abyss. Although she attacked Yan Hongwu, she could not unleash all of her strength. She could only use a small part of it. In addition, Yan Hongwu's cultivation was not strong at all. He was only in the honorable realm. She did not take him seriously at all. A mere honorable realm warrior could not withstand a single blow from her. However, after Yan Hongwu attacked, she realized that she was wrong. She was very wrong. Although Yan Hongwu's cultivation was not strong, his combat strength was very terrifying. In particular, the cultivation method he cultivated was a pure Yan cultivation method. It was filled with the righteous energy of heaven and earth. It was her nemesis. That golden seal was extremely lethal to her. The seal collided with the bony hand she had condensed and shattered it. The remaining power rushed into her palm and made a sizzling sound, corroding her palm. Ah, damn brat! The evil bone woman screamed as she looked at Yan Hongwu. Her eyes flashed with intense hatred, and her tone was incomparably sharp. You dare to injure me? I'll kill you. I'll cut you into 1,000 pieces and let you die without a burial ground, never to reincarnate. Her huge skeleton flickered with a white light as a bone claw appeared. It tore through space and grabbed at Yan Hongwu. Humph, courting death. Yan Hongwu couldn't be bothered to waste any more time. He originally wanted to see how much strength the Queen of the Abyss had recovered, but he didn't expect her to attack him. His original body retreated a few steps, and then the true demon incarnation appeared in front of him. A terrifying huge axe appeared in his hand. This was the heaven-punishing axe. Yang Hongwu's true demon incarnation didn't have a suitable weapon during Xing Tian's cultivation, so he borrowed Xing Tian's heaven-punishing axe. The huge axe contained a terrifying demonic energy. Yang Hongwu's true demon incarnation had already activated the Pangu true body. He turned into a giant, holding the Pangu axe tightly with both hands. At this moment, his power was astonishing. That terrifying aura seemed as if even heaven and earth couldn't stop it. It could shatter heaven and earth at any time. Heaven splitting, earth splitting. The huge axe slashed down from high up. The sky seemed to be like a bolt of lightning. It was so fast that no one could react. The bright light illuminated the entire space. The terrifying aura locked onto the evil bone woman. The evil bone woman felt the threat of death. She wanted to dodge, but she couldn't. She found that she had been locked onto by the terrifying aura. It was impossible for her to dodge. Am I going to die here? No, how can I die so easily? How can I, the Madam of Bones, die? Her face became even more ferocious and terrifying. At this moment, she had already revealed her true form. She could no longer maintain her transformed body. It was a huge skeleton. It was very terrifying. Her body emitted a strong demonic energy. Around her, ghosts and vengeful spirits surrounded her. They constantly let out sharp and ear-piercing cries. It was incomparably mournful. Supreme demonic runes, activate! Yang Hanwu roared furiously. Demonic runes appeared one after another, transforming into terrifying sky-devouring demons. They opened their huge mouths and devoured all the evil spirits and evil spirits. This was the first time Yang Hanwu used the power of the demon-devouring runes. The power of the demon-devouring runes was beyond Yang Hongwu's expectations. It was even more powerful and terrifying than his demon-killing finger. This was simply the nemesis of evil spirits. All the evil spirits were devoured and turned into pure demonic energy. It nourished Yang Hongwu's true demon incarnation, making his physical body stronger and his strength more terrifying. Even his main body had benefited greatly from it. Although his original body's strength did not increase, his primordial spirit, mental energy, and soul were one. They were connected. The power of the true demon incarnation nourished his primordial spirit and soul, allowing his original body to benefit greatly. However, Yang Hanwu was now a little worried. The cultivation speed of the true demon incarnation was much faster than his original body. If this continued, when would his original body be able to catch up to the true demon incarnation? If they could not be on equal footing, and their cultivation could not progress together, it would be difficult to merge his original body and incarnation in the future. However, Yang Hanwu could not care so much now. Everything would be alright when it came to it. Moreover, although the true demon incarnation was incomparably powerful, it was too difficult to make any further progress when one reached the peak of the Great Sage Realm, the fourth step Great Emperor Realm. Yang Hanwu knew that there was only one way for his original body and incarnation to break through to the Great Emperor Realm, and that was to merge his original body and incarnation. Only then would he be able to break through to the Great Emperor Realm. Moreover, once he broke through, he would be an invincible Great Emperor. Among the Great Emperors, he would be an invincible existence. No one could stop him. This was because Yang Hongwu's foundation was strong. His foundation was solid, and he was much stronger than the average person. Even Yang Hongwu's foundation was hundreds or thousands of times stronger than the average person in the same realm. Such a gap was not as simple as 1 + 1. What a terrifying demonic mark. Seeing the supreme demonic mark, the Queen of the Abyss could not help but take a few steps back. She was afraid that Yang Hongwu would devour her power. The demon-devouring rune was the ultimate nemesis of all evil forces in the world. No evil force could resist it, and there was no way to resist it. Yang Hongwoo's trump card was too terrifying. Chapter 8:13. Refining a divine pill. The skeletal evil bone devil did not even have the chance to react before she was devoured. The Abyss demonic empress and Ziru were both dumbfounded. That was too amazing. After dealing with the skeletal evil bone devil, Yang Hongwoo kept his incarnation in the little devil world to digest and devour the skeletal evil bone devil's power. I didn't expect you to hide your strength so well. The Queen of the Abyss was a little scared. If he had dealt with her like this, would she have survived? The Queen of the Abyss was not confident at all. Well, now that we have no one to disturb us, we can set up a formation and start refining. Yang Hongwoo took out a formation plate. 9 Heavens Profound Thunder Formation, open. With a light snort, a huge formation rose into the sky and shrouded the 3 of them. Guard me, I'm going to start refining. Yang Hongwoo casually set up a small formation and then entered the formation to start refining. The 2 women sat cross-legged. Yang Hongwoo began to refine pills. He took out the heavenly deity's spiritual grass and the stalks of spiritual herbs. It was not easy to refine a divine pill, but fortunately, Yang Hongwoo had obtained a supreme alchemy method that was incomparably mysterious. Open! A huge cauldron appeared in Yang Hongwoo's hand. The cauldron was constantly rotating, and balls of yin-yang flame were poured into the bottom of the cauldron. After a certain degree, Yang Hongwoo waved his right hand and the divine spiritual grass entered the cauldron. If he wasn't refining a divine elixir, Yang Hongwoo wouldn't even need an alchemy furnace to refine it. However, in order to be foolproof, he had to refine the best divine elixir. Therefore, Yang Hongwoo needed an alchemy furnace, and it wasn't an ordinary alchemy furnace. Although it was not an emperor artifact, it was still a heaven artifact. The heavenly deity's spirit grass was extremely overbearing. As soon as it entered the cauldron, the entire cauldron began to vibrate and emit buzzing sounds. Yang Hongwoo knew in his heart that this was because the divine spirit grass was too powerful. Although Yang Hongwoo had erased his consciousness, it was still very terrifying. The medicinal power was crazily attacking the alchemy furnace. Fortunately, this alchemy furnace was a celestial item. If it was an ordinary alchemy furnace, the seal would have been broken by now. Divine refining method. Yang Hongwoo lightly shouted. A mysterious power erupted from Yang Hongwoo's right hand and shot into the pill furnace. The originally crazily pulsing pill furnace that seemed like it was about to explode suddenly calmed down. However, Yang Hongwoo was clear that this heavenly deity spiritual grass was too overbearing. There was no way to refine it like this. Therefore, Yang Hongwoo needed to find other spiritual herbs to help neutralize the overbearing medicinal properties. Then, Yang Hongwoo raised his right hand and a stalk of spiritual herbs flew over. He opened the cauldron and those spiritual herbs quickly entered the cauldron one by one. Yang Hongwoo's speed was getting faster and faster, more and more astonishing. When he was refining pills, his technique was incomparably mysterious. It was not something that ordinary people could compare with. Outside the formation arranged by Yang Hongwoo, the Queen of the Abyss and Ziru were shocked to the extreme when they saw Yang Hongwoo's alchemy technique. This kind of alchemy technique was simply unheard of. This was something that even pill emperors could not do, right? Could it be that Yang Hongwoo's attainments in alchemy had already surpassed the pill emperor realm? Although they were unwilling, they had to admit that Yang Hongwoo's attainments and talent in alchemy were probably unparalleled. Too powerful. At this time, Yang Hongwoo controlled all the spiritual herbs in the cauldron and started the crucial step of alchemy. He refined all the spiritual herbs into medicinal liquid. This was a very crucial step. Although it was not the most crucial step, it would be very troublesome if there was a problem. Yang Hongwoo's control of the cauldron had already reached an unimaginable level. The divine spiritual herbs began to melt, and the yin-yang fire was unleashed to the extreme. This was a powerful fire control technique. Although Yang Hongwoo did not have the innate spiritual fire battle body, his control of the fire was not worse than the innate spiritual fire battle body. Coupled with the mysterious fire control technique, it had reached an incredible level. With his huge mental strength, he could detect the subtle changes bit by bit. Melt. Spitting out a word, Yan Hongwu's hands formed a mysterious seal. After the divine spiritual herbs melted, all the spiritual herbs melted and turned into a rich medicinal liquid that was filled with majestic spiritual power. The power of the spiritual power was shocking. Next, it was the second step. This step was to remove the impurities from the medicinal liquid in the cauldron. This step was related to the grade of the pill. The less impurities there were in the pill, the higher the grade of the pill. For an ordinary alchemist, it was already very good if they could refine a good grade divine pill. However, Yang Hongwu did not only want to refine a good grade divine pill. To him, if he could refine a good grade divine pill but not a precious grade divine pill, it would be a failure. Of course, his highest goal was to refine a supreme grade divine pill. Supreme grade divine pills. Only supreme grade divine pills had the best effect. The most amazing thing was that it did not have any side effects. If it was a good grade divine pill or even a precious grade divine pill, it would form pill toxins in one's body if one took too much of it. Once it accumulated to a certain level, it would be impossible to make any progress in one's cultivation in the future. The pill toxins would destroy the cultivator's physique and block the meridians. Some terrifying pill toxins would even stain the cultivator's primordial spirit and soul with impurities. That kind of situation was very terrifying. Therefore, for those geniuses, monstrous geniuses, who had strong physiques, great aptitudes, and heaven-defying talents, they would not take pills to improve their strength when they were cultivating. However, if it was a supreme grade divine pill, such a situation would not happen. Yang Hongwu would pay attention to this when he took pills. If it was not a supreme grade divine pill, Yang Hongwu would not take it. In Yang Hongwu's eyes, ordinary medicinal pills were just dregs. They were poison, trash, and not worth mentioning. Burn. After spitting out a word, his hands formed flame seals. These seals allowed the flames to burn the impurities in the medicinal liquid bit by bit. These impurities were burned bit by bit and turned into powder. They were excreted bit by bit through the cauldron's drainage channel. These black impurities fell to the ground and were very shocking. Even the ground was corroded. Seeing this scene, the Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu were shocked and extremely surprised. There were actually such terrifying impurities and toxins in this heavenly deity's spiritual grass. If these impurities and toxins were in the body, the damage to the body would be very terrifying. Chapter 8:14. Phenomenon of pill formation. Soon, the impurities were completely discharged. Yang Hongwu began the next step, which was to separate the liquid. All the medicinal liquid was divided into several parts, and the number of pills needed to be refined would be divided into several portions. Yang Hongwu's refining of this furnace of pills could be divided into 12 pills, which was very difficult. This was still a divine pill. Of course, he could also divide it into several portions. In that way, the number of pills refined would be much less. Of course, the medicinal effect would not change much. Thus, when concocting pills, every alchemist would do their best to concoct as many pills as they could. However, this required enough strength. If one did not have enough strength, wanting to refine more pills would lead to failure. In that case, the gains would not make up for the losses. However, who was Yang Hongwu? What kind of alchemy technique was it? Of course, he did not care. For the separation of the liquid, there was no difficulty at all in the final pill formation. Separate. With a light shout, Yang Hongwu's hands formed seals at an extremely fast speed. Everyone could only see a series of afterimages, as if there were thousands of hands swaying in the air. At this moment, the medicinal liquid in the cauldron was evenly divided into 12 portions. An ordinary alchemist could refine a saint pill in 3 to 5 portions at most. Even an alchemy emperor could only refine a saint pill in 9 portions at most. That was already the limit. For an ordinary alchemist, 9 was the limit. 9 was the limit. But Yang Hongwu was an ordinary person. Was he an ordinary alchemist? No, so when Yang Hanwu was refining pills, he divided the liquid according to the amount of medicinal liquid. Because there were enough medicinal herbs, he planned to refine a total of 12 Saint Breakthrough pills this time. Naturally, the liquid was divided into 12 portions. After the medicinal liquid was divided, it was the last step, pill condensation. Yang Hongwu's face became a little dignified. This was the most critical step. If this step failed, then all the previous efforts would be in vain. Condense. With a light shout, majestic mental strength controlled the furnace, and a mysterious pill condensation seal was inserted into the furnace. The clumps of medicinal liquid began to condense and take form. As time went by, Yang Hongwu's eyebrows were covered in sweat. This was the most critical moment, and the consumption of spiritual power was also huge. After all, he was refining a sacred pill. Although Yang Hongwu's mental strength was strong and had reached such a level, his cultivation was still a level lower. Boom! Rumble! The moment the pill was formed, the sky suddenly darkened, and a huge 7-colored tribulation cloud covered the entire sky. This is a pill tribulation. How is this possible? The Queen of the Abyss was shocked to the extreme. What kind of pill is he refining? How could it possibly attract tribulation clouds? Yeah, could it be that something unexpected happened? Did his cultivation level break through? Ziryu exclaimed. No, this is a pill tribulation, a 7-colored pill tribulation. This situation only occurs when refining an emperor pill. Could it be that he is not refining a breakthrough saint pill, but an emperor pill? The Queen of the Abyss was shocked to the extreme. She looked at the tribulation clouds in the sky to avoid becoming incomparably heavy. Look! This was not the end. At this time, a huge vortex formed in the entire array. This vortex was not for any other reason, but because it was madly absorbing the surrounding spiritual energy, forming a huge spiritual energy vortex. Most of the spiritual energy in the entire broken sky mountain was almost absorbed. Yang Hanwu also smiled bitterly. He did not expect to cause such an effect. This was a breakthrough saint pill. 12 breakthrough saint pills required such a huge amount of energy to devour so much spiritual energy. What was even more troublesome was that it actually attracted a pill tribulation. This was the biggest problem. However, fortunately, Yang Hanwu was already prepared. A disc array appeared in his hand. This was the disc array of the Heavenly Dipper Lightning Transformation Array. Yang Hanwu had obtained the Rushing Thunder Hand and the disc array of the Heavenly Dipper Lightning Transformation Array. Now that Yang Hanwu's strength had broken through to the Venerable Realm, compared to before, his strength was many times stronger. Naturally, this disc array had also improved by countless times. In addition, the ability of the Array Master had also improved a lot. Therefore, the Heavenly Dipper Lightning Transformation Array was much stronger than before. In comparison, it was simply incomparable. Heavenly Dipper Lightning Transformation Array, rise for me! Yang Hanwu roared, and the Heavenly Dipper Lightning Transformation Array was immediately arranged. Thunder dragons swam in the sky, and electric arcs flashed, shocking the mind. Originally, the Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu were very worried, but when they saw Yang Hanwu actually arranged such a powerful array, they were relieved. It turned out that he was already prepared, so there was no need to worry. What the two of them needed to do now was to prepare their defenses and not let others disturb Yang Hanwu. Otherwise, once they were disturbed by the outside world, all their previous efforts might be wasted. Now, they had reached a very critical moment. Once this pill tribulation was passed, the divine pill would be formed. Moreover, this was obviously not an ordinary divine pill. It was estimated that its effect was not inferior to the Emperor pill. Even if it was not as good as the Emperor pill, it was definitely not much worse. One must know that this was a pill that could attract a 7-colored pill tribulation. A mere pill tribulation dares to embarrass yourself. See how I will break through you. Yang Hanwu looked at the 7-colored tribulation cloud above his head and snorted coldly. His whole body was filled with majestic energy. Spiritual power condensed, and his whole body seemed to have turned into thunder, perfectly integrating with the heavenly dipper lightning transformation array. This was the rushing thunder hand. When Yang Hanwu first obtained the rushing thunder hand, he knew that this was not a simple secret technique. Now that he had displayed it, Yang Hanwu felt the power of the rushing thunder hand even more. He could vaguely sense the law of thunder. This was the real horror of the rushing thunder hand. If he could upgrade it to another level and comprehend the rushing thunder hand more deeply, he was afraid that he could come into contact with the law of thunder. Every kind of power, once it reached the extreme, would become the power of the law. Now, Yang Hanwu had only touched the edge of the law of thunder. He had not truly comprehended the origin of thunder. Of course, he was only one step away from comprehending the will of thunder. Although the will of thunder was not as good as the law of thunder, it could also greatly increase Yang Hanwu's strength. Once in a battle, if combined with the will of thunder, the power would increase exponentially. Especially against those evil spirits, it was like a fish in water. Boom! The sky was illuminated by the huge thunder and lightning. The seven-colored tribulation cloud released a terrifying power. It was as if the pill tribulation was angered by Yang Hanwu's words just now, and wanted to teach this weak human a huge lesson. Yang Hanwu raised his head and looked at the tribulation cloud without fear. What could a mere pill tribulation do to him? Maybe it was an opportunity for him to improve. Chapter 8:15. Pill Tribulation Rumble. With a loud explosion, a huge bolt of lightning struck down from the sky above Yang Hanwu and struck the array. Lightning swirled around the array like a huge electric snake. It devoured the terrifying lightning in an instant. A majestic energy washed over Yang Hanwu's body. Yang Hanwu circulated his immoral dragon body to the extreme. Yang Hanwu's physical body was very strong because he had cultivated the immoral dragon body. It was very difficult for him to improve his physical body. This time, he could use the pill tribulation to refine his physical body. It was a great opportunity. Yang Hanwu would not give up such a good opportunity so easily. 5 Extreme Thunder Refining Hand. Yang Hanwu roared out in rage. Both of his hands shone with a thunderous glow. The powerful thunderbolts were devoured by his hands and refined bit by bit. The 5 Extreme Thunder Refining Hand was a cultivation technique that Yang Hanwu had derived from the rushing thunder hand after his strength had increased. Yang Hanwu was confident that it was not weaker than an ordinary emperor technique. After devouring and refining the powerful lightning, Yang Hanwu's cultivation increased bit by bit. His physical body also received great benefits. Although the immortal dragon body did not have a breakthrough, it was also improving bit by bit. Another bolt of lightning. Another bolt of lightning. Each bolt of lightning was stronger than the previous. It struck the heavenly dipper lightning transformation array heavily. The powerful lightning tribulation made Yang Hanwu feel very mysterious. He felt that his physical body was about to have a breakthrough. His cultivation was also about to have a breakthrough. At this moment, the 7-colored tribulation cloud seemed to be enraged. The next lightning tribulation did not strike. It continued to grow. In the sky, the terrifying tribulation cloud continued to gather and absorb the energy in the void. It became even more terrifying. The surrounding aura became more and more terrifying. It was as if the lightning tribulation was going to destroy the entire Skybreak Mountain. At this moment, the Queen of the Abyss looked at the tribulation cloud in the sky with a solemn expression. Even she, who had broken through to the great emperor realm, was not confident that she could withstand this lightning tribulation. What was Yang Hanwu's cultivation? Although he had many powerful trump cards, this was the lightning tribulation of the heavenly Tao. It was extremely terrifying. Ordinary means were unable to withstand it. It was absolutely impossible to cheat when it came to the heavenly tribulation. Therefore, there was no way to resist this terrifying heavenly tribulation with ordinary means. Can he withstand this lightning tribulation? Ziryu was very worried. Under normal circumstances, Yang Hanwu had already withstood 8 thunder tribulations, and there was at least one more. And the power of this last thunder tribulation was even stronger than the power of the previous 8 thunder tribulations combined. Although Yang Hanwu had already withstood 8 bolts of tribulation lightning, it didn't look easy for him. That was why Ziryu was so worried. "Don't worry, this brat doesn't look like a good person. He's a bastard. As the saying goes, good people don't live long while bad people live for thousands of years. This bastard won't die so easily. You just wait and see. Moreover, if there's really no way to deal with him, he'll certainly ask us for help." Abyssal Devil Empress looked at Yang Hanwu and said to Ziryu, "I hope so." As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying lightning bolt descended from the sky. This bolt of lightning was much thicker than the previous 8 bolts of lightning combined. This bolt of lightning lit up the entire sky. Yang Hanwu was enveloped by the lightning. Crack! Crack! The Heavenly Dipper lightning formation finally could not withstand the terrifying power of the lightning tribulation and shattered. The formation was broken. At this moment, the Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu's expressions changed. The formation was broken. Could it be that Yang Hanwu was really at the end of his rope? But why didn't that bastard ask for help? Although they knew that Yang Hanwu was a very arrogant person, they would never have thought that he would not ask for help at this moment of life and death. "Refine, 5 lightning refining hands, refine all of it." A loud voice came from the lightning. It was Yang Hanwu's voice. At this moment, Yang Hanwu was full of energy and did not look like he was seriously injured or dying. The Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu quickly looked over. At this moment, Yang Hanwu's clothes were blasted to pieces and his solid, rock-like muscles appeared in front of them. Lightning flashed on his body. His hands were flashing with terrifying lightning. The terrifying power of the lightning was refined and absorbed by his hands little by little. At this moment, his body was like a bottomless pit, crazily devouring the majestic power of the lightning. The Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu both opened their mouths wide in disbelief. What kind of cultivation technique was he cultivating? It could actually devour the power of the lightning tribulation. This was too strong and too abnormal. The two of them stared at Yang Hanwu without blinking. Yang Hanwu did not have the energy to look at the Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu. At this moment, he was fully focused on refining the power of the lightning. The devoured power of the lightning entered his body, constantly refining his body and transforming it into pure spiritual power. The Dragon Dao Ultimate Technique and the 9 Transformation Yin-Yang Harmony Art were activated to the extreme at the same time. 1 cycle, 2 cycles. The majestic energy allowed Yang Hanwu's cultivation to increase rapidly. If it were anyone else, their cultivation would have increased by several levels after refining so much energy. However, Yang Hanwu was different. The energy required to increase his cultivation was too huge. Because his foundation was incomparably strong, it was not something that ordinary people could compare to. Even those so-called geniuses were like trash or ants compared to him. It was like a firefly compared to the sun. The difference was too great. Boom! With a muffled sound, the spiritual power in Yang Hanwu's body surged like a flood and broke through the restraints. He had broken through. At this moment, Yang Hanwu's cultivation had broken through to the 5th level of the Exalt Realm. Yang Hanwu took a deep breath and opened his eyes. It was not easy to break through. He had devoured so much energy to break through from the 4th level of the Exalt Realm to the 5th level of the Exalt Realm. If it wasn't for this pill tribulation, who knew how long it would take for him to reach the 5th level of the Exalt Realm? Oh no, the tribulation clouds haven't dispersed. He thought that it was the last bolt of lightning, but he did not expect that the tribulation clouds would not disperse at this time. Moreover, their might was even more terrifying than before. Crackling sounds could be heard in the void. The surrounding energy was completely sucked out and condensed in the sky. The tribulation clouds seemed to have been compressed, but it was precisely because of this that they were so terrifying. The tribulation clouds were compressed by 1 time, and the lightning that descended was 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times stronger. How could Yang Hanwu resist such a terrifying tribulation lightning? Chapter 8:16. Spear of Thunder. We're in big trouble now. The Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu's faces were heavy. Do you want to help? Ziryu asked. I think the three of us should be able to block this thunder tribulation together. Although Ziryu was very unhappy with Yang Hanwu before, she was very worried at this critical moment. Even if we can block this thunder tribulation, how can we block the next one? The Abyssal Empress said, each lightning tribulation is more terrifying and powerful than the previous one. 9 lightning tribulations have just passed, and there are still more. That means there are at least 18 lightning tribulations. Generally speaking, there are 9 lightning tribulations, either 39, 69, or 99. The most common one is 9 lightning tribulations. Now that 9 lightning tribulations have passed, there are only 39 lightning tribulations left. That means there are 27 lightning tribulations left. 27 thunder tribulations. This. Isn't Yang Hanwu dead for sure? Ziryu's face was extremely heavy. Once Yang Hanwu couldn't withstand it and was killed by the thunder tribulation, the two of them wouldn't be able to survive. The three of them were bound together for good or ill. Because the two of them were Yang Hanwu's slaves, and he had planted a contract mark on them. Don't worry, I don't care about a mere 3 thunder tribulations. Even 9 thunder tribulations are nothing to me. Yang Hanwu said telepathically. You're sure? The Queen of the Abyss said, don't screw us up. We don't want to die yet. Don't worry, I won't joke about my life. Yang Hanwu smiled and waved his hand, and a doppelganger appeared outside the formation. You can rest assured now. This is my original body. If anything happens to my original body, my doppelganger will still be here. This way, as long as my soul doesn't die and my primordial spirit doesn't perish, I won't die and you will be safe. Can you rest assured now? After saying that, Yang Hanwu began to concentrate on dealing with the thunder tribulation in the sky. This pill tribulation was unexpected. It was not an ordinary heaven tribulation, but a thunder tribulation, or even a thunder tribulation. It was unexpected that a mere furnace of divine elixir would encounter such a powerful pill tribulation. Come. Let me see how powerful the 39 heavenly tribulation is. Can it improve my fleshly body and cultivation base? Yang Hongwu's eyes were filled with the will to fight. Boom! The thunder tribulation came down. This was no ordinary lightning tribulation. The lightning had actually condensed into balls of lightning. Each of the balls of lightning was the size of a ping-pong ball. They didn't look like much, but they contained a terrifying power of lightning. 2. Yang Hanwu wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He activated his cultivation technique to devour the power of the thunder tribulation. He looked at the tribulation cloud in the sky and said, not bad, this is it. Come on, let me see the thunder tribulation again. How about it? Boom! Boom! More and more thunder tribulation came down. It was continuous, not giving Yang Hanwu a chance to react. Each thunder tribulation was more powerful than the previous one. The Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu were stunned. It was too scary, too crazy. This guy was definitely not human. After experiencing 26 lightning tribulations, Yang Hongwu's entire body was pitch black. At this moment, he was like a beggar, and his body was also covered with countless scars. Those scars were all pitch black, and his hair stood on end. Puff, he spat out a mouthful of blood. The continuous thunder tribulation had seriously injured Yang Hongwu. Although he had the protection of the immortal dragon body and the 5 thunder refining hands to devour the power of the thunder tribulation, it was still a thunder tribulation. After all, it was a heavenly tribulation, which was very powerful. It was difficult to resist one after another. He had exceeded his limit, so of course he would be injured. However, Yang Hanwu looked at the tribulation cloud in the sky. This should be the last thunder tribulation. After all, the energy in the sky had been exhausted. However, this last thunder tribulation was definitely not to be underestimated. It would not be easy to resist this last thunder tribulation. In order to be safe, Yang Hanwu had to swallow an elixir, a healing elixir, to recover a lot of his injuries. Most of his dermic powers had also recovered. The immortal dragon body and the 9 transformation yin-yang harmony art had been activated to the extreme. Moreover, the formation was set up again. Of course, it was the Thunder Tribulation formation. This Thunder Tribulation formation did not have a formation plate, but it was still powerful. This time, Yang Hanwu used the 9 Dragons Battle Saber as the formation eye of this formation. The 9 Dragons Battle Saber was a powerful Emperor weapon. Using an Emperor weapon as the formation eye, the power was naturally not on the same level as the previous formation plate. They could not be compared at all. Boom! The sound of thunder was deafening. The power was very terrifying. The rainbow-colored tribulation cloud in the sky underwent a great change. It actually turned into a thunder spear. Boom! Finally, the last thunder tribulation lightning struck down. This thunder tribulation lightning contained a terrifying aura. It was the shadow of the thunder spear that struck down. Yang Hanwu felt that terrifying lethality. There was a kind of heart throbbing. That was the crisis of life and death. Not good. Yang Hanwu's expression was grave to the extreme. He raised both hands and a series of mysterious hand seals struck out. Yin-yang rotation, water flame lotus, protect. Clear sky pagoda, come out. The huge clear sky pagoda enveloped Yang Hanwu within. Together with the water flame lotus, it protected Yang Hanwu within. To deal with the last terrifying thunder tribulation lightning. Oh my God, this is the shadow of the thunder spear? The Queen of the Abyss opened her eyes wide and shouted loudly. Thunder spear? Ziryu was also deeply shocked. Although she knew that Yang Hanwu's furnace of elixirs was extraordinary. But she never thought that this furnace of elixirs would attract the thunder spear. Could this furnace of elixirs be a forbidden elixir? Could it be that what he refined was not the breakthrough sage elixir, but the legendary overlord elixir? This overlord elixir was the most powerful and mysterious existence among the emperor elixirs. It was said that taking the overlord elixir could double the success rate of breaking through to the great emperor realm. In this way, the success rate of breaking through to the great emperor realm would become very terrifying. One must know that the success rate would double. It was very difficult to break through to the great emperor realm. It was said that there were only a few great emperors in each plane. In other words, the law only allowed so many great emperors. Once the number reached and someone wanted to break through to the great emperor realm, it would attract divine punishment. Chapter 8:17. The true sage pill. It's just a shadow. If it was the real body, I might be afraid. Yang Hanwu snorted coldly and punched the void. The fierce and overbearing fist force was like a huge meteor that wanted to pierce through the universe. Boom! The fist collided with the lightning spear shadow. Divine dragon shadows appeared around Yang Hanwu, supported by the will of heaven and earth and the divine power of the void. Yang Hanwu's 9 dragon saint body had completely erupted. The battle spirit possession was also displayed, erupting with unprecedented power. Not only that, Yang Hanwu also mobilized the power of the sorcerer world. The origin of the sorcerer world was Pangu's heart. Previously, Pangu's heart had been completely refined by Yang Hanwu and truly integrated into the sorcerer world. Therefore, although Yang Hanwu couldn't fully mobilize the power of the sorcerer world, he could still mobilize a part of it. Even if it was only a part, the power that erupted was very terrifying. Even an ordinary great emperor wouldn't be able to fend off the punch. Of course, Yang Hanwu knew very well that if he was in a battle, he would not be able to use it. This was because mobilizing the power of the sorcerer world and using this most powerful punch required time to accumulate power. In a real battle of life and death, where would he have so much time to accumulate power? While you were accumulating power, you would have already been beaten to death by others. However, facing the heavenly tribulation was different. Yang Hanwu had long been prepared. This punch had been accumulating power for a long time. Yang Hanwu had already started preparing when the first two heavenly tribulations came. After such a long time, he had already accumulated power to a limit. Now that he had released it, the power of this punch was extremely overbearing and terrifying. Wherever the fist force went, the space turned into nothingness. Nothing could withstand it and dissipated in the void. The two terrifying forces finally collided. That was the huge lightning spear shadow. Under the impact of this powerful and overbearing punch, a terrifying force erupted. Under this terrifying force, everything within a radius of a few hundred feet was turned into ashes. Yang Hongwu's body was sent flying. The lightning spear shadow also completely dissipated in the void. The remaining fist force finally bombarded the seven-colored tribulation cloud. The seven-colored tribulation cloud also dissipated as if it had never appeared. Seeing the tribulation cloud dissipating, Yang Hanwu also collapsed to the ground. He had consumed a lot of his energy, and he had no strength left. After all, this was a heavenly tribulation. It could even be called heaven's punishment. How could it be so easy? Who, Yang Hanwu was it? Yang Hanwu was drenched in the Han River. The heavenly tribulation's heavenly tribulation. Fortunately, it was only the 3 and 9 heavenly tribulation this time. If it was the 6 and 9 heavenly tribulation, it would be really troublesome. He had no way to resist it. Yang Hanwu. How are you now? The Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu were very concerned about Yang Hanwu. They were worried that something bad would happen to him. After all, it was the lightning spear that was equivalent to a talent. Yang Hongwu's strength was too terrifying. Even the lightning spear could not do anything to him. Although it was just a shadow, it was still very terrifying. It was not something that an ordinary Great Emperor Realm warrior could resist. However, he was able to resist it. Therefore, the two women were still worried about his condition. If there were any sequelae and his life was in danger, it would not be good. It's okay. Yang Hanwu waved his hand and said, I'm just a little tired. I'm much better now. Yang Hanwu cultivated the way of the dragon, the immortal dragon body, and the 9 dragons' divine body. Its characteristics were very powerful. With the energy provided by Nini and Shurbauer in the divine dwellings, as well as the sorcerer realm and the Haotian pagoda, his recovery ability was amazing. Although it was only for a while, he could stand up now. He also recovered a little of his Dharma power. Dong dong dong. The elixir furnace was shaking violently. Yang Hanwu squinted his eyes. The two women's eyes also shifted to the elixir furnace. Although the elixir furnace was sealed, the 3 of them could feel the terrifying energy contained in the elixir furnace. This energy was very shocking. What kind of elixir did you refine? How did it provoke such a terrifying elixir tribulation? This is far more powerful than an ordinary divine elixir. Even an emperor elixir is not as powerful as this. The Queen of the Abyss looked at Yang Hanwu and asked. Yang Hanwu smiled and said, It's a divine elixir. A divine elixir. A divine elixir? No, it's impossible. I know about the divine elixir. I've seen others refine it, but it can't be this powerful. The Queen of the Abyss said. Oh, is there an alchemist who can refine a divine elixir in the 5 extreme space? Yang Hanwu looked at the Queen of the Abyss in surprise. An alchemist who could refine a divine elixir was definitely very noble and rare. How could there be such an alchemist in the 5 extreme space? Of course there is. The 5 extreme space is also a plane. It's even more powerful than the ancient domain. It's just that it's not as vast as the ancient domain. However, the spiritual chi here is much denser than the ancient domain. The Queen of the Abyss said. That's true. Ziryu nodded. There are many forces in the 5 extreme space. Among them, there's the Demon Saint Heavenly Palace. There's a powerful alchemist there. This alchemist is called the Demon Cloud Alchemist. He's a divine elixir master and can refine divine elixirs. He once refined a divine elixir. The Abyssal Empress said, "At that time, I had just broken through to the Great Saint realm, and I went to ask for the elixir. However, the Demon Cloud Alchemist's conditions were too high. I wanted a saint elixir to consolidate my cultivation, but he wanted 10,000 spirit yuan stones." The Queen of the Abyss said, "Yes, the Demon Saint Heavenly Palace. Yes, I'll go to the Demon Saint Heavenly Palace after I break through and obtain the heaven-piercing demon bridge." Yang Hanwu had a premonition that the Demon Saint Heavenly Palace wasn't simple. Moreover, it was related to whether he could completely deal with the Zetian here. "Are there any other alchemists?" Yang Hanwu asked. If he could recruit these powerful alchemists for his own use, it would be a good choice. For alchemists, his alchemy skills were something they dreamed of. If he used his alchemy skills as bait, he wouldn't be afraid that they wouldn't submit to him. Chapter 8:18. Opening Dantian. I'll go meet him when I have time. Yan Hanwu said. "It'll be difficult." The Queen of the Abyss said, "Lin Faden has always been elusive. He hasn't shown up for 30 years. He might have already entered the heavenly domain. Then we'll talk about it later. It's time to collect the pills." Yang Hanwu narrowed his eyes and waved his hand. A suction force burst out. The cauldron fell into his hand. At this moment, the lid of the cauldron opened instantly. 7 colored pills shot out at an extremely fast speed. "Collect." Yang Hanwu took out a gourd. The gourd released a powerful suction force and sucked in all the pills one by one. 12 pills, not a single one was missing. After collecting them, Yang Hanwu poured out 2 saint-breaking pills and handed them to the 2 girls. "Okay, these 2 pills, take them." Is this really a saint-breaking pill? A supreme-grade pill? The 2 girls widened their eyes. A saint-breaking pill and a supreme-grade pill among saint-breaking pills. 7 colored pill runes even had their own consciousness. Such a pill was truly heaven-defying. It was no wonder that it attracted such a terrifying heavenly punishment. This was no longer something an ordinary alchemist could compare to. Even an emperor alchemist couldn't do it. Ordinary emperor pills wouldn't have their own consciousness. The 2 girls were shocked once again. Could this guy be the illegitimate son of the heavenly Tao? No, even the illegitimate son of the heavenly Tao wouldn't be taken care of like this. He was most likely the illegitimate son of the heavenly Tao. Most likely, the entire Jyotian Shitty's luck was concentrated on him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so powerful and powerful. Let's find a quiet place. I want to take a pill and break through my current cultivation realm. Yang Hanwu said to the Queen of the Abyss. I know a place. The Queen of the Abyss lived near the Broken Sky Mountain. Yang Hanwu and Ziruyu couldn't compare to her in terms of understanding of the Broken Sky Mountain. Under the lead of the Queen of the Abyss, the 3 quickly came to a palace. This palace was in an underground cave. It was very hidden, and there was a natural concealment array. This concealment array was formed naturally, which surprised Yang Hanwu to the extreme. This was the first time he saw such a powerful natural array. If it wasn't for the Queen of the Abyss leading the way, he wouldn't be able to find this place even with the help of the cat. Come, this is a good place, Yang Hanwu said. The spirit chi here is quite dense. Most importantly, it's hard for people who don't know this place to find it. This is a place I accidentally found. I will use this place as my final hiding place, the Abyssal Empress said. You built this place? Ziruyu asked. Yes, I built these palaces myself. There are 2 cultivation rooms here. Master, you can go to that cultivation room to cultivate. Sister Ryu and I will guard outside. The Queen of the Abyss said. Okay, then I'll have to trouble you. Yang Hanwu didn't refuse and slowly walked to the cultivation room. After entering the cultivation room, Yang Hanwu opened the disc array and arranged 2 arrays. One was a spirit-gathering array, and the other was a defense array. After opening the array, Yang Hanwu took out the Saint Breakthrough pills. There were a total of 12 Saint Breakthrough pills in this furnace. After giving one to Ziruyu and the Queen of the Abyss, there were only 10 left. Yang Hanwu also needed one of these 10 pills. The remaining 9 pills would be given to the Great Fairy, Yuji, and the others. After all, these pills were very precious. The materials used to refine them were extremely rare. Although Yang Hanwu wouldn't give them to anyone other than his own women. Of course, the Queen of the Abyss and Ziruyu were special cases. Yang Hanwu swallowed the pill. After swallowing the pill, it suddenly turned into a majestic energy, crazily attacking Yang Hanwu's body. The energy contained in this pill was too great. Even if Yang Hanwu's body was strong, and he cultivated the immortal dragon body and the 9 dragons' sacred body, it was difficult to resist this terrible energy. At this time, Yang Hanwu felt that his body was about to explode from this majestic energy. Damn it! Could it be that I'm going to explode and die because of a medicinal pill? Yang Hanwu didn't expect that the energy contained in the Saint Breakthrough pill would be so terrible. Intense pain spread from his dantian and meridians, and his body began to expand. Immortal dragon body, open. 9 dragons sacred body, open. Battle spirit possession, open. Yang Hanwu roared. The cultivation technique he cultivated was also activated to the extreme, and he frantically absorbed and refined the energy contained in the Saint Breakthrough pill. Even so, Yang Hanwu still found it difficult to digest this majestic energy. Seeing that he was in danger of exploding and dying, Yang Hanwu was burning with anxiety. He had been too confident and had misjudged the energy in the Saint Breakthrough pill. At this time, Yang Hanwu's spiritual abode transmitted Nini's voice to Yang Hanwu's spiritual sea. Brother, input the energy into the spiritual abode. Nini had been in a deep sleep. She had only woken up when she sensed the enormous energy in Yang Hanwu's body. She had also discovered that Yang Hanwu was in danger, so she asked Yang Hanwu to input the energy that he couldn't absorb into the spiritual abode. This way, she could help reduce the burden on Yang Hanwu. After all, Shurbauer was a powerful existence in the spiritual abode. Due to the restriction of the law, although Shurbauer was in the 5 extreme spaces, Yang Hanwu couldn't release him. However, this majestic energy was naturally a great supplement for Shurbauer. Normally, the spiritual chi that Yang Hanwu cultivated was not enough to supply Shurbauer for him to recover. However, this energy was different. It was so majestic and vigorous. Okay. Yang Hanwu nodded hurriedly. After that, Yang Hanwu gritted his teeth and began to guide this majestic energy. However, what made Yang Hanwu depressed was that this energy was too overbearing and too powerful. He had no way to control it. Boom! At this time, a cultivation technique appeared in his mind. 9 Heavens Spiritual Cultivation Technique. Yang Hanwu's body trembled. The appearance of this cultivation technique made Yang Hanwu ecstatic. This was like a pillow sent to him when he was sleepy. He had no way to refine this majestic energy. Now that he had this cultivation technique, he could refine it easily. Not only that, but it could also help him control his own Dharma power to the highest and best state. 9 Heavens Spiritual Cultivation Technique, refine it for me. Blue veins bulged on Yang Hanwu's forehead. With a roar, vortexes formed around his body. These were his newly opened dantians. Yang Hanwu used this majestic energy to open a total of 5 dantians in his body. Chapter 8:19. Half-Step Saint Realm. At this moment, Yang Hanwu's cultivation base was soaring like a rocket. It was growing at an astonishing speed. 5th level Exalt Realm. 6th level Exalt Realm. 7th level Exalt Realm. He soared all the way to the peak of the Exalt Realm. He only stopped when he reached the half-step Saint Realm. Such a speed was simply unprecedented. Moreover, Yang Hanwu's immortal dragon body had become even stronger. Boundless magic power was stored in the 8 dantians within his body. His original dansions had opened up divine dwellings, but the new dansions didn't have divine dwellings. However, it didn't matter. He could open up divine dwellings without them. Yang Hanwu wasn't in a hurry. Huff. After Yang Hanwu completely refined the energy of the Saint Breakthrough Pill, he opened his eyes and spat out a mouthful of turbid air. A golden ray of light shot out from his eyes and instantly pierced through the stone wall. This was the true meaning of a gaze that could kill. Yang Hanwu pushed open the door. The Queen of the Abyss wasn't there. It was Ziryu who was guarding the door. "Great, you've finally come out." Ziryu was pleasantly surprised when she saw Yang Hanwu come out. "What's wrong? What happened? Where's the Queen of the Abyss?" Yang Hanwu felt that it was a little strange that the woman wasn't there. However, he soon found out because he noticed that there were people fighting outside. One of them was the Queen of the Abyss. As for her opponents, they were 3 black-clothed men who were also demonic cultivators. Although they were weaker than the Queen of the Abyss, the 3 of them could execute a very powerful joint attack. They trapped the Queen of the Abyss in the middle and gained the upper hand. Although the Queen of the Abyss was strong, she hadn't fully recovered. That was why she was suppressed. Furthermore, the Queen of the Abyss didn't go all out. She was worried that she would disturb Yang Hongwu's cultivation. If she disturbed Yang Hongwu's cultivation and caused him to go berserk, it would be a serious matter. "Abyssal female demon, you should obediently step aside. The person we're looking for isn't you, but Yang Hongwu." One of the black-robed devils said coldly, "You're no match for the 3 of us. Although your cultivation base is already in the Great Emperor realm, you haven't recovered at all. You can't use your full strength." He was actually here to look for him. Yang Hanwu narrowed his eyes. He didn't expect that these guys were here to cause trouble for him. They must have been sent by the Zetian. Zetian's strength was getting stronger and stronger. His subordinates were all so strong. Yang Hanwu was very surprised. How could the Zetian control so many forces in such a short period of time? Since when did the people of the Empyrean Demon Palace become the lackeys of others? The Queen of the Abyss said loudly. "Queen of the Abyss, don't speak nonsense. We saw that you broke through to the Great Emperor realm, so we didn't bicker with you. If you dare to speak nonsense again, no one can save you. Even if you broke through to the Great Emperor realm, only death awaits you. Master's strength isn't something you can imagine." Hearing the Queen of the Abyss's words, the 3 devils' faces changed drastically. It was as if they had encountered something terrifying. "Big brother, why are you being so long-winded with her? Don't tell me you still have fantasies about her? As long as we complete Master's mission, what kind of woman can't we find? Moreover, with Master's ability, even if we kill her, she can be revived. When the time comes, can't we just ask Master to revive her?" "We don't have much time left," said another devil. "That's right, big brother. This woman doesn't know what's good for her. Just kill her. You can't risk our lives for a mere woman. Queen of the Abyss, don't be so stubborn. If you don't move away, we'll kill you. Although you're a first-level Great Emperor, you're not our match." "Humph, so what if I kill you? You're only 4th-step Great Emperors. Although I haven't recovered, it's enough to deal with you." A murderous light shot out from the Queen of the Abyss's eyes as her body erupted with monstrous demonic flames. "Kill!" A trace of regret flashed in the eyes of the demon known as the Big Boss. With a loud roar, the 3 demons erupted with 3 powerful demonic powers. The 3 demonic powers merged together and formed a huge demonic blade. This demonic blade didn't seem very powerful, but it had the power to destroy heaven and earth. The blade slashed towards the Queen of the Abyss. Although the Queen of the Abyss had launched her strongest attack, she couldn't block the blade at all. Her demonic energies were instantly shattered by the blade. The blade was unstoppable. "Am I going to die?" The Queen of the Abyss smiled bitterly. She didn't expect to die here. "Humph." At this moment, a deep voice was heard and a huge palm appeared from the void. The huge palm was filled with golden light as it thrust out a finger. Boom! The huge golden finger collided with the demonic saber, instantly shattering the demonic saber. The three demons were sent flying by the powerful force. They spat out blood. Their faces were filled with extreme fear. There was actually such a terrifying expert who was so powerful. The three of them unleashed a powerful attack and it was easily shattered. Powerful enemy, this was definitely a powerful enemy. No wonder the Queen of the Abyss was so fearless. It turned out that there was such a powerful expert behind her. It seemed like the mission to capture Yan Hanwu had failed. The three of them smiled bitterly. If they failed this mission, they would be punished when they returned. They might even lose their lives. How dare you touch my people? How audacious. Yan Hanwu landed steadily beside the Queen of the Abyss and fed her a pill. Have a good rest. I'll take care of the rest. Thank you, Master. The Queen of the Abyss heaved a sigh of relief. Her master's strength had increased, but he hadn't even broken through to the Saint Realm. That was a Saint breakthrough pill. A Saint Realm warrior could advance to the Great Saint Realm after taking a pill. Warriors below the Honorable Realm could reach the Saint Realm directly after taking a Saint breakthrough pill. However, Yan Hanwu wasn't just a half-step saint. He wasn't even a fourth-step saint, let alone a true saint. Who are you? I advise you not to get involved in this mess. We're from the Sky Demon Palace, subordinates of the Zetian Demon Emperor. We're here to capture Yan Hanwu. If you dare to stop us, you'll be captured by the Demon Emperor and suffer a fate worse than death. Sang Cheng coughed out a mouthful of blood as he looked at Yan Hanwu. The Zetian sent you to capture someone. Didn't he tell you what he looked like? Yan Hanwu said coldly. You're Yan Hanwu? Sang Kong's eyes widened. Chapter 820. Killing the enemy. You're Yan Hanwu? That's great, said Sang Cheng. Come with us. Our Lord Demon Emperor wants to see you. How arrogant. Yan Hanwu sneered. Who does Zetian think he is? Do you think I'll go just because he wants me to? Don't you know that he was defeated by me? Every time he fought with Zetian, Yan Hanwu would emerge victorious. Although Zetian was powerful, his repeated defeats made Zetian very wary of Yan Hanwu, even though his cultivation had already broken through to the Demon Emperor realm. How dare you be disrespectful to Lord Demon Emperor? Do you want to die? Sang Cheng was furious. Humph, disrespectful. You were defeated by me. Scram now, and I can spare your lives. Yan Hanwu snorted coldly. The three of them weren't weak, but Yan Hanwu didn't put them in his eyes. What big words! Even the Lord Demon Emperor would have to be wary of us three brothers when we join forces. A mere exalted actually dares to act so arrogantly. Sang Cheng snorted coldly and said, Allow me to experience your strength. With that, Sang Cheng took a step forward. You guys should come together. Yan Hongwu's eyes were filled with disdain. You can't even defeat my servant by yourself. You want to deal with me? What a joke. You're courting death. Seeing that Yan Hanwu didn't put him in his eyes, Sang Cheng was furious to the extreme. He grabbed with his big hand. Like a sharp eagle's claw, it tore through the air and grabbed at Yan Hanwu. Demon claw technique? Yan Hanwu did not put him in his eyes at all. Spreading out the 5 fingers of his right hand, he transformed them into a claw and grabbed out at the other party. The air was torn apart instantly as boundless magical powers condensed into a gigantic dragon claw in the air. Its might was shocking and boundless. Rip! The demon claw and the dragon claw collided. The demon claw was instantly torn apart. They weren't on the same level at all. After the dragon claw tore apart the demon claw, it didn't stop. Instead, it continued to grab at Sang Cheng. Sang Cheng punched out with both hands, trying to block the terrifying dragon claw. However, it was all in vain. Although he was powerful, he couldn't block Yan Hongwu's attack. Boom! With a muffled sound, he was sent flying. What terrifying strength! After Sang Cheng was sent flying, his injuries weren't light. He had to be helped up by his two brothers. His face was pale. Only then did he realize how terrifying Yan Hanwu was. Even if Yan Hanwu was powerful, Yan Hanwu. Was he hiding his cultivation level now? In fact, Yan Hanwu didn't hide his cultivation. There was a huge formation here. After Yan Hanwu came out, he took control of the formation here. The formation was more powerful than Yan Hanwu had imagined. Yan Hanwu's strength was only at the middle stage of the honorable realm. After going through the pill tribulation and swallowing the saint elixir, his strength had increased tremendously. He even controlled some of the laws of heaven and earth here. With the help of the formation, Yan Hanwu could be said to be the god of Skybreak Mountain. The laws of the entire Skybreak Mountain were under Yan Hanwu's control. Therefore, defeating Sang Cheng with one move wasn't surprising. Yan Hanwu could easily defeat ordinary great emperors in Skybreak Mountain. "Big brother, let's go together," said Sang Kong. "Okay." The three of them once again assumed an attacking posture. This was a combined spell formation, and the three of them vaguely surrounded Yan Hanwu. "Master, don't let them form a joint attack," said the Queen of the Abyss. "Once they form a joint attack, their strength will increase exponentially." "It's fine." Yan Hanwu smiled. He didn't take it to heart. "They're just clowns. They're not worth mentioning." After saying that, he didn't stop the three of them. After a few breaths of time, the three of them formed a joint attack. Powerful auras erupted from the three of them. A powerful aura enveloped Yan Hanwu. "You're very strong. As expected of someone that Lord Demon Emperor thinks highly of. However, so what? You're too careless. We three brothers form a joint attack. Our strength is not as simple as 1 + 1. It's countless times stronger than before," said Sang Cheng loudly. Slash. With a loud shout, the three of them gathered their power and formed a spear. Then, they stabbed it toward Yan Hanwu. Humph! Yan Hanwu's eyes shot out a golden beam of light as he raised his right hand. The power of thunder began to gather, and the boundless power of thunder formed a long spear. When the spear formed, the Queen of the Abyss was shocked. She screamed, "Spear of lightning?" Ziryu's eyes widened. How is this possible? It was the spear of lightning. Yan Hanwu actually formed the spear of lightning? How is this possible? He actually refined the power of the pill tribulation to form the spear of lightning. Although this wasn't the actual spear of lightning, it was still very terrifying. Using the projection of the spear of lightning to attack the enemy. This was simply unheard of. "Die!" Yan Hanwu shouted. The spear of lightning flew out. It was extremely fast. In an instant, it collided with the black spear formed by the three brothers. Kacha, kacha. How powerful was the spear of lightning? It was supreme. It was the will of heaven and earth, the power of heavenly punishment. When it erupted, it destroyed everything in its path. Compared to the spear of lightning, the black spear wasn't on the same level. It was destroyed in an instant. After destroying the black spear, the spear of lightning didn't lose its momentum. It continued to move forward, piercing towards the three brothers. Seeing this scene, the three brothers were terrified to the extreme. They had no way to resist. If they knew that Yan Hanwu could summon the spear of lightning, they wouldn't have attacked Yan Hanwu. They wouldn't have come here at all. They would have run as far away as possible. Why would they foolishly come here to die? Bang! Although the three of them tried their best to resist, how could they possibly stop it? The lightning spear pierced through the defenses of the three men in an instant. The terrifying power of the lightning spear immediately struck their bodies. Bang, bang, bang. The three of them were sent flying. The majestic power of lightning wreaked havoc in their bodies. The three of them were demonic cultivators. Their bodies contained demonic aura. The spear of lightning contained the power of lightning. It was the nemesis of their demonic aura. Therefore, after the power of lightning entered their bodies, they were in great pain. It was as if their bodies were being tortured by the soul fire. Even their bodies were collapsing and dissipating. Chapter 821. Probing Lord Demon Emperor, save me. At this critical moment, Sang-Cheng crushed a jade talisman and shouted. When the talisman was crushed, a demonic light appeared and a figure appeared in the sky. Zetian? Yang Hanwu narrowed his eyes. No, this wasn't the real Zetian. It was just a strand of Zetian's divine sense. However, even if it was just a strand of divine sense, it had terrifying strength. Yang Hanwu could clearly feel it. Yang Hanwu, we meet again. You still haven't made any progress. I'm so disappointed. Zetian looked at Yang Hanwu and said indifferently. Humph, you're just a loser. You didn't dare to come to me, so you sent your subordinates to die. Yang Hanwu snorted coldly. Loser? The corners of Zetian's mouth twitched, and he said coldly, you're too weak right now, and you're utterly unworthy of me making a move against you. However, these fellows are truly trash. They can't even deal with an Exalt Realm expert, so there's no point in keeping them alive. Lord Demon Emperor, please spare us. Please spare us. Hearing Zetian's words, Sang-Cheng and the other two were shocked. They hurriedly knelt and begged for mercy. They were very clear about Demon Emperor Zetian's strength and means. Come here. Zetian waved his hand. The three of them flew uncontrollably toward Zetian's divine sense. Zetian struck out a seal. The three of them kept spinning. Their divine souls were extracted and devoured by Zetian. Zetian's strength increased by a lot. Die! Zetian condensed a demonic saber in his right hand. He swung the saber, and the saber shadows covered the sky and enveloped Yang Hanwu and the other two. Yang Hanwu kept retreating with a serious expression. He didn't expect Zetian's cultivation to be so terrifying. Just a strand of his divine sense was so terrifying. Although his cultivation was improving rapidly, compared to Zetian, it was like heaven and earth. The gap was too big. What he lacked now was time. If he couldn't improve his cultivation as soon as possible, he was afraid that he really wouldn't be Zetian's opponent. Immortal Cloud Strike. Yang Hongwu's magic power condensed, and a bright light burst out from his eyes. He suddenly struck out. The power that burst forth from this strike even shattered the space. Instantly, it clashed with the countless saber shadows. The powerful force spread out in all directions, destroying everything in its path. Swish! Zetian's figure was sent flying. You do have some skills, but you're still far from being able to defeat me. Zetian was a little embarrassed, but his aura was still very strong. Demons suppressed the gods. Zetian's aura changed again. It was as if he was the most terrifying evil god in the world. His body exploded with powerful devil chi, and many terrifying shadows appeared around him. It was the heaven-punishing evil god. One by one, the evil spirits flew toward Yang Hanwu. Their faces were terrifying. Humph! Yang Hanwu snorted coldly. He raised his hands and struck out a series of spiritual arts. Majestic power poured into Yang Hanwu's body. Above the sky, there was a dazzling light. Hao Yin Demon Suppression Seal, go! A huge divine seal fell from the sky and bombarded the shadows of the demon gods. When it came into contact with them, it instantly disappeared. After Zetian's divine sense was dispersed, Yang Hanwu also heaved a sigh of relief. You've been hiding your cultivation? Seeing Yang Hanwu explode with powerful strength to repel Zetian's divine thought, the Queen of the Abyss was a little surprised. She looked at him and said, "What do you mean by hiding my cultivation?" Yang Hanwu was stunned when he heard that. He then said, "You've misunderstood. I didn't hide my cultivation. If you didn't hide your cultivation, then how could you deal with that guy so easily? Moreover, the elixir tribulation was so terrifying. It's absolutely impossible for a martial honorable realm warrior to withstand it. Even a great saint can't withstand it, Ziryu said. That's right. You must have hidden your cultivation. We're all under your control now. You don't have to hide it so deeply, right? The Queen of the Abyss said. Hearing the two women's words, Yang Hanwu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He didn't expect them to misunderstand. However, Yang Hanwu didn't explain any further. So be it if it was a misunderstanding. Forget it. You can think whatever you want. Our task now is to take away the Heavenly Demon Bridge. Yang Hanwu looked at the Heavenly Demon Bridge in the distance. Take away the Heavenly Demon Bridge? Are you confident? The Queen of the Abyss asked. Even if I'm not confident, I still have to try. Yang Hanwu said. His cultivation had already reached the half-step saint realm. Who knows, his strength might be able to take another step forward and enter the saint realm after taking the Heavenly Demon Bridge. The Heavenly Demon Bridge had been in the 5 extreme space for countless years. Even great emperors had been killed by it before. It was a powerful demonic weapon. If he could refine it, although his original body might not be able to break through, the strength of the true demon incarnation would definitely increase greatly. Although the true demon incarnation was much stronger than the original body, it wasn't much stronger than the original body because it didn't have a suitable weapon. If he could turn the Heavenly Demon Bridge into the true demon incarnation's weapon, the true demon incarnation's strength would definitely increase tremendously. Let's go. The three of them came to the side of the demonic bridge. Are you sure you want to take the demonic bridge? Countless experts have tried to take the demonic bridge, but none of them succeeded. Even great emperors were the same. They either died or were injured, the Queen of the Abyss said. No matter what, I have to give it a try. Yan Hanwu said. As you can see, Zi Tian's divine sense is already so strong. If it's the original body, it would be even more terrifying. Moreover, his strength is still increasing. If I don't increase my strength as soon as possible, I'm afraid I won't have any way to deal with him. Then you must be careful. The Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu were still very worried. After all, taking the Heavenly Demon Bridge wasn't a joke. Yes, I know what to do. Yang Hanwu said and came to the side of the Heavenly Demon Bridge. In order to cross the demonic bridge, one would need a sacrifice. If there was no sacrifice, the demonic bridge would cause trouble. Therefore, Yang Hanwu knew that the Heavenly Demon Bridge must have its own artifact spirit. Moreover, the artifact spirit had already formed. In order to refine the demonic bridge, one would need to erase the artifact spirit. After all, it was a demonic weapon. The artifact spirit was incomparably evil. If it wasn't erased, one would be affected by the demonic will. True demon incarnation. With a thought, Yang Hanwu's true demon incarnation appeared and his consciousness entered it. Chapter 822. Gathering winds and clouds rise. Yang Hanwu roared, and a majestic demonic energy poured into the Heavenly Demon Bridge. The Heavenly Demon Bridge began to move violently, and a destructive aura swept out, rushing towards Yang Hanwu. How dare you challenge the authority of the Heavenly Demon Bridge? Destroy, destroy. The Heavenly Demon Bridge was enraged. How many years had it been since someone dared to make a move against it? Now, a devil who had just stepped into the Great Saint Realm dared to make a move against it. He was simply courting death. A vast amount of energy erupted like a mountain flood, and huge waves rushed towards the sky. Wave after wave of terrifying energy rushed towards Yang Hanwu, and it was like a huge tsunami had erupted. Everything around the Heavenly Demon Bridge was about to be swept away and destroyed. At this moment, Yang Hanwu was like a small boat in a stormy sea that could capsize at any time. Yang Hanwu also felt the terrifying energy. He had already expected this. How terrifying was the Heavenly Demon Bridge? Even an Emperor Realm expert couldn't easily subdue it. How could it be easy for him to obtain it? Immovable mountain. At this moment, he was like a huge mountain. No matter how hard the Heavenly Demon Bridge tried to attack him, it couldn't move him at all. The Heavenly Demon Bridge became even more furious. An illusory figure appeared. It was the Heavenly Demon Bridge's spirit. Despicable human, you're courting death. The Heavenly Demon Bridge's deep voice spread far and wide, and the shockwaves caused the surrounding creatures to be shaken to death. Even the Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu's expression changed slightly. The sound wave attack was terrifying and powerful. The Queen of the Abyss had seen the power of the Heavenly Demon Bridge before, but that was from afar. This time, she couldn't help but be shocked when she was so close to it. She finally understood how terrifying the Heavenly Demon Bridge was. If one was on the Heavenly Demon Bridge at this moment, no one would be able to resist it. They would definitely be thrown off the Heavenly Demon Bridge and fall into the abyss. There were countless terrifying beasts and mutated beasts in the abyss. Even an invincible Emperor Realm expert wouldn't be able to survive if they fell into the abyss. Someone is touching the demonic bridge. How audacious. There's actually someone who wants to get their hands on the demonic bridge. I wonder who it is. Could it be the new demon emperor of the Sky Demon Palace? In the Five Extremities space, all the experts could feel the devil might of the sky-piercing devil bridge. Someone dared to make a move against it. How audacious. One expert after another moved out. All of them were rushing towards the direction of the broken sky mountain. That was the Heavenly Devil Bridge they were talking about. Although they knew that the Heavenly Devil Bridge was incomparably powerful and no one would be able to subdue it, they would still rush over. Who knew, they might even be able to benefit from it. After all, this was the Heavenly Devil Bridge, a supreme devil treasure. Once he obtained it, his strength would increase explosively. The Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu's expressions changed. Of course, he could sense the powerful auras rushing over from all directions. Yang Hanwu, things aren't looking good. Those old antiques are rushing here, said the Queen of the Abyss. Yang Hongwu's lips curled into a smile. Originally, he could have avoided it. As long as he set up a huge formation to isolate the surroundings, he would be able to prevent the aura from leaking out, preventing others from sensing it. This time around, the reason why he did it was to scheme against these experts. After all, the Heavenly Devil Bridge was way too powerful. Even if he could refine the Heavenly Devil Bridge alone, he would have to expend a huge amount of energy. At this crucial moment, he was not willing to take the risk. If those old antiques in the Five Extremities space who were interested in the Heavenly Devil Bridge were to make a move together, things would be different. By stirring up this pool of water, he would be able to save a lot of energy, and fish in troubled waters. Don't worry. I did it on purpose. Yang Hanwu said indifferently, you guys go into hiding now and don't get involved. When the time is right, I'll send a message to you guys. You? The Queen of the Abyss was shocked beyond words. What kind of a game of chess was this? He had schemed against all the experts in the Five Extremities space. Well, that was right. This Heavenly Devil Bridge was not easy to refine. If a single person were to make a move, it would be impossible. However, if all the experts in the Five Extremities space were to make a move together, the chances of success would be much higher. However, if that were to happen, who knew how many experts in the Five Extremities space would die? What a good plan. The Queen of the Abyss and Ziryu disappeared from where they were in a flash. Yang Hongwu's lips curled into a smile. Boundless energy gathered, forming a gigantic palm that stretched out from the sky, grabbing towards the weapon spirit of the Heavenly Devil Bridge. Come on! Yang Hongwu shouted, and the gigantic palm grabbed down. Humph! Puny human, you're courting death. The weapon spirit of the Heavenly Devil Bridge opened its mouth, and a gust of black wind was spat out. It kept spinning, twisting, and rolling, forming a terrifying disaster. The wind of disaster roared crazily, and it was extremely terrifying. If this wind of disaster were to hit a cultivator, it would instantly corrode them. If a powerful cultivator were to encounter it, he would be triggered by the 5 heavenly man sorrows. Even a great Emperor Realm expert would not be able to withstand it. This was the terrifying part of the Heavenly Devil Bridge. However, Yang Hanwu had long since been prepared for all of this, even though it was tough. The wind of doomsday instantly swallowed the big hand condensed from Yang Hanwu's Fa and swept towards Yang Hanwu in an overbearing manner. However, he did not take it seriously. He was already prepared. To Yang Hanwu, this was a disaster, but it was also an opportunity for him to train. Panga True Body, activate. Supreme Undying Demon Body, activate. This was the best opportunity for him to train his body. The wind of disaster was extremely terrifying. No matter what it was, it would be corroded and annihilated. However, in this world, there were still many powerful things that could withstand the terrifying winds of doomsday. There were also many experts who cultivated their bodies, powerful secret techniques, and divine abilities that could resist this terrifying attack. Yang Hongwu's Immortal Dragon Body and Panga True Body could both do this. Of course, the Supreme Undying Demon Body could do the same. The Sovereign Indestructible Demon Body was a powerful conjoined body technique that Yang Hanwu had obtained after separating from the true demon avatar. It was a body-refining technique that had been derived from the Supreme Demonic Path. If the Supreme Undying Demon Body could be fused with the Panga True Body and become a cultivation method, it would be truly powerful. The wind of disaster enveloped Yang Hongwu's true demon incarnation, and it constantly wriggled, eroding and grinding Yang Hongwu's body. Not long after, someone appeared in front of the Heavenly Devil Bridge in Broken Sky Mountain. Who is that? He's not strong, but his body is so terrifying. He's not damaged at all in the wind of disaster, said an expert. Chapter 823. Gathering from all directions. What a pity. What a pity. This lad doesn't know the immensity of the heavens and earth. He's courting his own death. If he was given a few more 100 years, his cultivation would have reached an unimaginable level. An expert sighed. That's right. It's a pity. If only we had met this lad earlier. If we had taken him into our sect, he would have become an unparalleled expert. This lad has the potential to become an invincible emperor. If I were to save him. An Emperor Realm expert of the 5 extreme holy grounds narrowed his eyes and started scheming in his heart. Of course, it wasn't an easy task to snatch someone away from the heaven-piercing demon bridge. Unless everyone attacked together, there wouldn't be a chance. However, it wasn't an easy task to get everyone to attack together. Yang Hanwu was also in the midst of his calculations. Although these experts had appeared, they weren't stupid enough to attack the heaven-piercing demon bridge directly. In that case, they would need a catalyst. Since you guys aren't attacking the heaven-piercing demon bridge, I'll let the heaven-piercing demon bridge attack you guys. Yang Hanwu gathered a powerful force. Shadowless Battle Body, activate. Yang Hanwu activated the Battle Spirit Possession and activated Ing Xiaorui's powerful body constitution. Shadowless and Formless. Shadowless Strike. Yang Hongwu's strength erupted as a powerful attack burst out. It was formless and formless as it slammed heavily on the heaven-piercing demon bridge. This was an attack that Yang Hongwu had used all of his strength. Its power was nothing to scoff at. Even an Emperor Realm expert would be severely injured by this attack. This attack caused the body of the heaven-piercing demon bridge to tremble. Damn it. You damned humans. How dare you sneak attack me? An earth-shattering roar rang out. The heaven-piercing demon bridge that was dealing with Yang Hongwu's true devil incarnation was attacked by Yang Hongwu's true body. This enraged the heaven-piercing demon bridge completely. Its terrifying aura formed numerous demonic gods. These demonic gods burst out with berserk energy as they rushed towards the experts. At the same time, the main body of the heaven-piercing demon bridge unleashed a terrifying suction force, forming a gigantic whirlpool in the void. This whirlpool was like a miniature black hole that wanted to devour everything in its path, turning it into nothingness. Damn it. This demonic bridge is probably trying to devour us and lure us over. It wants to break through and become an unparalleled demonic weapon. Yang Hongwu's true body shouted. A supreme devil tool. Yes, the heavenly devil bridge is the strongest devil tool in the 5 extreme spaces. Its strength is terrifying, and it controls the power of the heavenly break mountain. It has devoured countless experts, and its strength is constantly increasing. Could it be that this is a scheme of the heavenly devil bridge? It wants to devour us to break through to the supreme devil tool realm? Another expert said. Damn it, this demonic bridge is indeed harboring evil intentions. It deserves death. Another expert slammed out with his palm, shattering a demonic god. His face was extremely gloomy. At this moment, everyone realized that the laws of the heavenly break mountain had changed. The heavenly devil bridge formed a terrifying devil formation. This terrifying devil formation sealed everyone within it. The entire heavenly break mountain was enveloped by the demonic array. The entire array was filled with a terrifying killing intent, the massacre law. We're trapped. This heavenly devil bridge is really trying to devour all of us to improve itself. One by one, they howled out. We're trapped. Damn beast. Let's attack together, or we'll all die here. At this moment, everyone recalled an incident that happened 2,000 years ago. Back then, countless experts were trapped within the heavenly break mountain, and none of them came out alive. Until now, no one had been able to figure out what had happened. This time, many people guessed that this was the scheme of the heavenly devil bridge. Kill, kill! All of them roared in anger. Each of the experts displayed their strongest techniques. These people were either great emperors or great saints. They were all ancient figures in the 5 extremities space, and each of them was incomparably powerful. Each of them had their own supreme techniques, and when they unleashed them, it was extremely terrifying. Yang Hongwu's original body was hiding at the side, and he was shocked. These people were indeed not simple. Each of them had their own trump cards and techniques. This time, with so many experts joining forces, the chances of obtaining the heavenly devil bridge were much higher. Yang Hongwu's face suddenly changed. Under the devil abyss, terrifying beasts appeared one after another. These beasts were incomparably strong, and the weakest of them was comparable to a great saint. Hidden dragon beast. Evil beast. Soul-severing python. Damn it, why are there so many beasts? The faces of the experts changed drastically. They did not expect that there would be so many terrifying beasts under the abyss. None of these beasts were simple, and they were all ancient beasts. Each of them was extremely difficult to deal with. These beasts are probably under the control of the heavenly devil bridge. An elder of the Sky Beast sect said coldly. Although the sect master of the Sky Beast sect was killed and the 1,000 Beast totem was snatched away, it did not mean that there were no experts in the sect. These experts were all ancient figures who were in seclusion. They only appeared because they sensed the changes in the heavenly devil bridge. If it was not for the heavenly devil bridge, they would not have come out of seclusion unless the sect was facing a calamity. They didn't care about the death of a mere sect master. To them, cultivating, breaking through, raising their cultivation base, breaking through the shackles, and breaking through the realm were the most important things to them. Everything else was incomparable to them. But now, their lives were under threat. Moreover, it was an unprecedented crisis. They wanted to obtain the supreme demonic weapon, the heavenly devil bridge, for the sake of breaking through, but they did not expect to fall into such a huge crisis. These terrifying beasts were extremely ferocious. Senior Heavenly Beast, do you have any way to get rid of these beasts? Everyone knew that this old man was the supreme elder of the Sky Beast sect. His beast-controlling technique was extremely powerful, and there were several supreme beasts under his control. In terms of cultivation base, although he was only a 4th-step Great Emperor and had not truly broken through to the Great Emperor realm, his combat strength was extremely terrifying. He was even stronger than an ordinary Great Emperor realm expert. Moreover, his beast-taming technique had reached perfection. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to control an Emperor realm ferocious beast and several Great Saint realm ferocious beasts. Chapter 824. Sky-piercing Demon Emperor 2 is good too. If I have the 1000-beast totem, I can restrain 5 Emperor Realm beasts. Unfortunately, I don't have the 1000-beast totem with me. Heavenly Beast Venerable said. It doesn't matter. Let's deal with these beasts together. Let's throw them into the abyss before we deal with the sky-piercing demon bridge. An expert said. Everyone erupted in anger. Each of them took on a beast. Yang Hongwu's true demon incarnation also exploded out with great power, breaking through the restraints of the apocalyptic winds. Then, it killed a beast and unleashed a demonic hand. The demon-devouring runes formed a giant devouring beast, devouring the beasts that were killed. That kid is so scary. The great Saint Realm beasts are like chickens and dogs in front of him. They can't even withstand a single blow. His strength is increasing continuously. Some of the Emperor Realm experts were shocked to the core when they saw this scene. Terrifying. This is too terrifying. His strength has reached such a level. Unbelievable. It's simply unbelievable. With their strength, it's impossible to kill a great Saint Realm beast so easily. Moreover, his strength was increasing continuously as he devoured the beasts. This was the scariest part. If he continued to devour the beasts, wouldn't it not take long for him to break through the shackles of the great Saint Realm and break through to the Emperor Realm? If this kid breaks through, he'll definitely become an invincible Emperor Realm expert. In the 5 extremities space, there must not be another invincible Emperor Realm expert. It was a huge threat to them. No one was willing to see such an outcome. They were all high and mighty existences. If an invincible Emperor Realm expert appeared, it would be a huge threat to them. Their status and even their lives would be in danger. How could these old antiques be willing to accept such an outcome? If they knew this would happen, they wouldn't have come here and let him be devoured by the sky-piercing demon bridge. However, if the sky-piercing demon bridge devoured that guy, the sky-piercing demon bridge would undergo a shocking transformation. Once the transformation was successful, the sky-piercing demon bridge would become a terrifying Emperor Realm expert. It would no longer be a supreme demon weapon, but a supreme demon emperor. The faces of these antiques were extremely gloomy. A terrifying supreme demon emperor had already appeared in the Empyrean Demon Palace. His strength was terrifying, and his progress was even more shocking. His cultivation speed could be said to be advancing by leaps and bounds, increasing crazily every moment. His appearance had long made these old antiques feel a great threat. However, no one dared to make a move. The old antiques of the Empyrean Demon Palace had made a move before, but they had been suppressed in just a few seconds. From this, one could see how terrifying that Devil Emperor was. Compared to that person, this kid was nothing. Even if he had a unique physique and a great chance of becoming an undefeatable martial monarch, so what? It would take a very long time for him to become an invincible emperor. Even if he did become an invincible emperor, he would still have to face the supreme Devil Emperor of the Celestial Demon Palace. 2 tigers cannot live on one mountain. This was the law. In this 5 extreme space, when 2 tigers fought, one would definitely be injured. Moreover, both sides might be injured. Some of the smarter old-timers did not appear. They had their own plans. The Demon Emperor of the Empyrean Demon Palace was too strong. There was almost no one who could match him now. Even if they all joined forces, it would not be easy to deal with him. Moreover, it was even easier to get the experts of the 5 extreme space to join forces. It was even more impossible. Boom! Explosions rang out one after another. Beasts were killed one after another. These old antiques were all ferocious. Although the beasts summoned by the Heavenly Demon Bridge were strong, these old antiques were even stronger and more powerful. In just a short while, blood had already flowed like a river. There were countless casualties. Damn it! You damnable humans! Die! All of you can die for me! The Heavenly Devil Bridge erupted with power as a gigantic figure appeared in front of it. Damn it! Who is that? A vast and invincible aura appeared. This terrifying aura made everyone feel suppressed, and their hearts trembled. That's... my God! That's the projection of the Heavenly Demon Emperor. Damn it! Did the Heavenly Demon Emperor leave behind a backup plan? The experts of the various major factions looked extremely gloomy. Yang Hanwu looked at the projection of the Heavenly Demon Emperor, and his eyes shone brightly. This was the projection of the Heavenly Demon Emperor, which was also his consciousness clone. If he could devour this clone, his strength would increase tremendously. It would not be a problem for him to break through to the Sage Realm. Now that he was a half-step Sage, it would be extremely difficult for him to break through to the Sage Realm. As long as he could devour this clone, he would be able to do it. However, it would not be easy to devour and refine this clone, especially when there were so many people around. Moreover, the Heavenly Demon Bridge would not allow him to devour it. Damn you all! The Heavenly Demon Emperor's huge hand turned into a knife, and he gathered a terrifying force and slashed at the void. Boom! This terrifying power instantly tore the void apart. A great Emperor Realm Martialist was instantly killed by this attack. Terrifying. This kind of strength was just too terrifying. Everyone present could not help but take a step back. Their faces were gloomy, and they were extremely afraid. That was an Emperor Realm martial artist. Although he was only at the first level of the Emperor Realm, he was still an Emperor Realm martial artist. Yet, he was killed by the Heavenly Demon Emperor in a single strike. If a fight really broke out, wouldn't all of them be killed? In just a few breaths' time, everyone would be killed. After the Emperor Realm martial artist was killed, his body turned into a pool of blood. His soul, flesh, and blood were all devoured by the Heavenly Demon Bridge. Everyone, let's attack together and kill this clone of the Heavenly Demon Emperor first. A second-level Emperor Realm expert shouted, otherwise, we will all die in the hands of the Heavenly Demon Emperor. Alright, let's attack together and kill him. It's just a clone. What's there to be afraid of? Yeah, there are so many of us. Can't we deal with a mere remnant consciousness? Everyone was filled with fighting spirit. This was for survival. No one hid their trump cards anymore. This was a matter of life and death. If they still held back, they would not even know how they died. Yang Hanwu was extremely excited. Let's fight. The more deaths, the better. Of course, Yang Hanwu could also feel that the power of the Heavenly Demon Bridge was increasing. Chapter 825. Thousand Demon Totem. In order to deal with the heaven-piercing Demon Emperor's shadow, everyone rushed forward and attacked the heaven-piercing Demon Emperor's shadow in a frenzy. However, the heaven-piercing Demon Emperor's shadow was too strong. With just a raise of his hand, a vast and boundless power of destruction could be unleashed. Although everyone had joined forces, the number of martial artists who died in the hands of the heaven-piercing Demon Emperor was already quite a number. The strength of these people were all incomparably strong antique martial artists. Yang Hanwu was also very shocked. He didn't know when he would be able to have such a strong cultivation base. The heaven-piercing Demon Emperor was indeed an invincible great emperor. Even if it was just a clone, a projection, it was already so terrifying. If it was his real body, no one in the 9 heavens and 10 earths would be able to defeat him. However, a projection was ultimately just a projection. Although it was strong, there was a limit to its power. After killing so many people, its strength finally decreased and was about to disappear. Seeing this scene, Yang Hanwu also heaved a sigh of relief. At this moment, a huge catalog appeared in the void. Yang Hanwu was astonished when he saw this catalog. This catalog was actually very similar to the 10,000 Beast Totem he had obtained. If it wasn't for the monstrous demonic aura on it, Yang Hanwu would have suspected that this was the 1,000 Beast Totem. Numerous demons were struggling and roaring on the catalog. This is the other supreme demonic weapon of the heaven-piercing Demon Emperor, the 1,000 Demon Totem. An expert shouted. Oh no, I didn't expect the heaven-piercing Demon Emperor to leave these 2 items here. The heaven-piercing demon bridge and the thousand-demon totem were both supreme demonic weapons of the heaven-piercing demon emperor. Of these two, the heaven-piercing demon bridge was so strong that so many people couldn't subdue and refine it. No one had seen the thousand-demon totem before because those who had seen it were all dead. Therefore, the strength of the thousand-demon totem was foreseeable. Now, not only had the heaven-piercing demon bridge appeared, even the thousand-demon totem had appeared. With these two supreme demonic weapons together, how could they survive? This was a conspiracy, a huge conspiracy of the heaven-piercing demon emperor. Rumor had it that the sky-reaching devil emperor had fallen a long time ago, but how could an invincible great emperor fall so easily? Furthermore, why would the heavenly devil bridge and the myriad demon catalog still be here after his death? How could such a powerful projection appear? Damn it, we're dead for sure this time. The remaining warriors were all grief-stricken, their faces ashen. Who could resist the combined might of two powerful magic tools? Unless there was a peak great emperor realm warrior here, there was no way to resist it at all. However, were there any peak great emperor realm cultivators here? No. 10,000 demon catalog? Yang Hanwu discovered that the 10,000 beast totem that he had obtained actually came from the same source as the 10,000 demon totem. They had a very close relationship. If that was the case, could he directly seize the 10,000 demon catalog? If he could obtain the 10,000 devil catalog, he would really have a chance to refine the heaven-piercing devil bridge. Unlike those pessimistic old antiques, Yang Hongwu's eyes flashed with excitement. This time, he had long since made his preparations, all for the sake of the heavenly devil bridge and those old antiques. Demon? What was a demon? A true demon was lawless. In the heavens and on the earth, he was the only one. As long as he took a fancy to it, it would be his. As long as he wanted it, it would be his. Who would dare to harm him? As long as he was his enemy, he would have to kill. The devil was the supreme existence. Demons were invincible in the myriad of worlds. At this moment, such a thought appeared in Yang Hongwu's mind. A huge demonic consciousness soared into the sky. All this time, Yang Hanwu had never sensed the demonic consciousness in his heart. He had never thought that it would appear at this moment. When the 10,000 demon catalog appeared, it actually triggered his demonic consciousness. The demonic consciousness seeped out of his body and separated from his body, forming a separate consciousness that entered the true demon incarnation. This is severing three corpses, severing evil corpses. Yang Hanwu had a slight realization. At this moment, the true demon incarnation had been turned into an evil corpse. Yang Hanwu smiled bitterly. Severing three corpses to prove one's Tao. Wasn't this the method that Tao ancestor Hongjun and the three pure ones used to prove one's Tao? One qi into three pure ones. Yang Hanwu smiled bitterly. He had never thought that the one qi into three pure ones technique would unknowingly evolve into the severing three corpses technique. However, this was also good. After severing the evil corpses, his strength had increased greatly. If he was in the untainted three realms, his strength could be considered as a half-sage. Of course, he was only in the Great Sage realm here. The Great Sage realm here was equivalent to a half-sage in the untainted three realms. The Great Emperor realm experts here were the heavenly path sages of the untainted three realms. Now that he had severed the evil corpses, didn't that mean that he had to prove his Tao as a great emperor? In other words, if he wanted to become a heavenly path sage, he would need to sever three corpses and combine them to become a sage. Severing three corpses to prove one's Tao was actually not an easy task. In the untainted three realms, there was only one sage who had successfully severed three corpses to prove one's Tao. That was Tao ancestor Hongjun. Only he had managed to do it. This showed how difficult it was to sever three corpses to prove one's Tao. Back then, the three pristine sages, Goddess Nviwa, the two sages of the West, and so on did not sever three corpses. Goddess Nviwa proved one's Tao by virtue of virtue. As for the others, they obtained virtue through enlightenment and used it to prove their Tao. However, in this way, it was clear who was stronger and who was weaker. Tao ancestor Hongjuan's strength was far beyond that of the three pristine sages, goddess Nviwa, and so on. At this time, Yang Hanwu had inadvertently severed his evil corpses. This made Yang Hanwu extremely depressed. In this way, it would be even more difficult for him to cultivate to become a great emperor. According to the original situation, he only needed to cultivate his original body and real demon incarnation to the fourth step Great Emperor realm at the same time. Then, he would be able to break through the Great Emperor realm and become a Great Emperor realm expert. But now, he had to sever three corpses and combine them to become a Great Emperor realm expert. This was much more difficult than that. Greetings, Taishan Demon. The evil corpse's thoughts appeared in Yang Hongwu's mind. Taishan Demon? Yang Hongwu took a deep breath. That's good, that's good. Although they were evil corpses, they were still one body. With self-awareness, it would be more convenient for him to cultivate. He did not need to be controlled by his original body's thoughts. Original body, help me seize the 1,000 demon catalog, said the Taishan demon. A cold light flashed in Yang Hongwu's eyes. Does he want his original body to take action? That's fine too. Yang Hongwu exerted all his strength to the extreme and communicated with the witch world and the little devil world. You're tuning into the Mythic Realms YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.